Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship round number 16 of 18 this evening. We're at the Texas Motor Speedway, and a fantastic race we are getting ready to see. 250 miles, 167 laps to run around this great facility. Tim Terry, Nim Cross, and Brian Schoenberg getting ready to call all the action for you. And Nim, we have some new faces in this series here this evening.
Yeah, there are a couple of pro drivers making their way into the series today, and they'll be looking to have a good race here at Texas. Texas is one of those tracks, very fast, very tight coming off corner number 2, and we'll see how they work the race.
And we mentioned with us this evening Brian Schoenberg. Brian, driver of the number 55 Inside Sim Racing Chevrolet you see here every Tuesday night. But Brian, hanging up the wheel for a week and coming up and joining us in the broadcast booth. Brian, what do we expect out of the Texas Motor Speedway?
Well, first off, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, Tim. If I couldn't race, this is the next best thing. Something you'll expect tonight, obviously, is Texas is a very setup-dependent racetrack, and the cars that have dominated lately have been those of Junior Motorsports, and they basically become 6 of the top 7 here in qualifying for this race. So there's 2 things I'm going to be watching for. Number 1, our pole sitter, Josh Parker. Can he get his first win of the year? He's been close a lot of times, hasn't closed the deal. Can he win? And number 2, can our points leader, Ray Alfalla, who's starting 4th, can he challenge and beat the Junior Motorsports cars tonight? He's been close.
2 things to watch here this evening, and looking at the point standings, Brian mentioned it coming in, Nim, that Ray Alfalla, 550 points. That is before drop weeks. Thomas Hazard in 2nd. Brad Wright, John Gorlinski, Brad Davies, top 5, and this is before those 2 drop weeks. You look down the list, Wood, Hudson, Parker, Schoenberg, and Maine, your top 10 in the point standings. Anything can happen, albeit Ray Alfalla out in front of the standings, Nim. He's going to need some falters in order to lose this championship. Thomas Hazard needs to be on his game.
Well, with the drop weeks, Ray has a 40-point lead. And with that 40-point lead, he pretty much has a full race on everybody else. He could finish 40th or better tonight and still be in the point lead for the next race. Ray has shown consistency, and he's very fast. It's not only that he's been consistent, he's been consistently in the top 5 all season long. He has 9 top 5 finishes out of the 16 races so far and 11 top 10. So Ray, not only is he consistent, but he's up front all the time. If anybody's going to have a chance, Ray has to have a very bad race, and it's got to be very bad early. I'm not going to wish that on him. Ray has been very dominant, and looks to be, with 3 races to go, looks to have a good shot at the title.
Definitely, Ray's chances are looking really good right now as far as the title and everything. And another thing you're going to look for tonight is on the pit strategy. One thing we kind of saw at Atlanta, it was kind of a trend. You would see cars pitting under cautions at kind of off-sequence times, and what they'd be doing is they'd be trying to get more of that gas inside the car, because what they want to do is they want to stay out as late as they can under green flag conditions. In case a caution comes out during those green flag stops, they can automatically gain a lot of track position tonight. So definitely be looking around, maybe 15th, 20th on back, for guys pitting at different times, trying to maximize a good day here at the Texas Motor Speedway.
And I'm sure we'll see some green flag runs in the middle half of this race on, and especially that fuel is going to come into play when we do see the green flag out for an extended period of time, as we are getting ready to go racing here. And Nim, when we go down the starting lineup in just a few moments' time, you'll see a lot of those Junior Motorsports drivers near the top of the board.
They've been fast ever since iRacing 2.0 came out in the beginning of August. They started and have finished pretty much up front in all the races we have since the new tire model has come out. Parker, Gorlinski, Ray Alfalla, all those guys have been very, very fast. And even last 2 weeks ago at Dover, when we had the first-time winner, Thomas Lewandowski, he picked up his first win. So those guys have found something setup-wise, driving style-wise, something with their cars that make them very fast on this new tire model.
Someone you can kind of look for also as well as sort of a dark horse today would be the 33 of Ryan Blackford. He qualified really good in the last race at Dover, and he ran in the top 10 all race, and I believe he ended up finishing in the 6th position. He had a great run then, and he's starting way up front today, as you'll hear in a few moments with the starting lineup. But definitely Brian Blackford, smart driver. He's definitely a dark horse tonight as well.
And with just a few seconds left in this starting grid, we want to give everybody their due that is in this race because we have a couple of new faces. Let's go down our starting grid for this evening's racing action. It is round 16 of 18 from the Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. On the pole, 81, Josh Parker, 28.212. And on the outside, 21, John Gorlinski.
In row number 2, we have on the inside, car number 11, Brad Davies. On the outside of him, your points leader, car number 2, Ray Alfala.
Last time out, he was a winner on the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. It's Thomas Lewandowski. And to the outside, the number 6 starts in 6, Steve Sheehan.
Inside row number 4, the 08 car, last year's champion, Richard Taller. Starting outside him, car number 51, Patrick Fogel.
Completing your top 10, it's Brian Blackford, 33, and the number 9, Thomas Hazard.
Starting 11th is Richie Davidowitz. Starting outside him, car number 83, Chad Coleman.
Couple of pros make up the next row. It's Patrick Baldwin on the inside, Landon Harrison on the outside.
In the 15th spot, you have Derek Wood on the inside. Starting 16th is the 01 car of Tyler D. Hudson.
17th and 18th belong to the 72 with Josh Berry. Into the outside, 91, Byron Daly.
Pedro Mojica starts from the 19th spot. Next to him in row number 10 would be Robert Hall.
John Prather, 45, starts in 21st. 22nd is the 48 of Brad Wright.
Jeremy R. Allen starts in 23rd. Next to him in the 24th position is Charles Cosper.
Connor McKenzie in the number 10 rolls off 25th, and 26th, Josh Lawton.
27th, we have Jamison Spees, and 28th, Jordan Erickson.
Chris Main rolls off in 29th, and 30th, Matthew Moose.
31st, Daniel Pope II, and 32nd, Jeremy Thornton.
Making his first start in the series. Greg Spears going to start 33rd. 34th is Vinny Sansone.
Andrew Fayette III will bring it off in the 35th position. 36th, Justin Lowry.
Stephen Gilbert rolls off 37th, and 38th is Jean Costa.
Chris Hennigan in his second race is in the 39th position. Dana Weiermeyer, the oldest driver in the field, starts 40th.
And completing your field 41st through 43rd, Nolan Scott to 06, and not taking time in qualifying, Jesse Atchison, 28, and Florian Goddard, our driver from France, in the 4, rolls off 43rd. 43 cars getting ready to take the green flag here this evening at the Texas Motor Speedway. Glad you could be with us here on iRacing.com and PSRTV.com as the pace car will roll into the infield this time by and will leave the field in command of Josh Parker and John Gorlinski. Pace car is in the swath for men. Chevrolet Impala set to put the hammer down for the first time this evening. 167 laps to be run, and we are green.
A very even start for the front row going down the corner number 1. Everybody's still side by side. One thing about Texas Motor Speedway here, it's very wide, but it's very narrow coming off corner number 2. The banking kind of falls away a little bit, and by the time they're coming off corner number 2 here, that outside line wants to be down the inside.
You said it, Nim. Turn 2 could definitely be Calamity Corner. The transition from the banking down to the back straightaway is definitely something you got to keep your eyes on as the field comes to the start-finish line to complete lap number 1.
Battle back here for position number 4. It looks like Ray Alfala coming under fire from Thomas Lewandowski. Lewandowski not wasting any time. Ray Alfala up the hill and nearly got into the wall in corner number 1.
Yeah, it looks like, and we got trouble in turn 2, but it looks like Ray might have, and a big crash back here in corner number 2. That's a lot of cars involved. But it looked like Lewandowski might have been trying to
So the caution flag comes out for the first time this evening, guys, and Patrick Baldwin, and I believe it may have been the 54 of Derek Wood that made the contact to initially spark that off, but we had 2 drivers go for wild rides, Baldwin being one of them, and the number 24 of Pedro Mojica going for a wild ride.
We were just talking about, guys, the exit at turn 2 there. Well, that wasn't quite towards the exit there, but it seemed as if 54 Derek Wood made some contact with Patrick Baldwin there in the 52, and that was a big old mess. It definitely ended a lot of people's days. For sure, that's unfortunate for the people involved in that wreck.
Yeah, it looked like maybe Patrick was up in the second lane, and he was coming down a little bit, and Derek didn't want to let out and hit Patrick there, and that's spinning around. But all these cars grouped up this early in the race, blocked the whole field coming off corner number 2 there. Really had nowhere to go, and a lot of cars are damaged. But as we saw last week in Dover, I believe that was with Thomas Hazard. He got damaged early on in the race, Tim, but he was able to get her fixed and come back with a good finish. And that's what a lot of these guys will be looking to do.
And especially if you have just a little bit of damage after this wreck, survival, there's more than likely going to be another wreck or two. You might be able to pick up some points. Patrick Baldwin, Derek Wood, Pedro Mojica, and Robert Hall are the 4 drivers that are right now in the paddock area. At this point, their days are done. That leaves 39 drivers on the racetrack, and some of them will be sporting some battle scars on their race cars. Josh Parker, John Gorlinski, and Brad Davies are shown as your top 3 in NIM. One thing I noticed on this start was Brad Davies spun the tires a little bit. It took him about a lap to regain his focus or regain the grip underneath that race car, and he was right up to John Gorlinski when that caution flag flew.
Yeah, he's right there, and I think Brad's going to be very strong today. He had a good start on that start, was able to keep it right there. One thing, Ray Alfala, we did mention him, how he fell back there in the beginning. I believe what happened is Thomas Lewandowski dove under him, and maybe Ray thought something bad was going to happen, and I don't know if he overreacted, but he reacted in a way where he went up the track. That cost him another number position. He's back to 6th right now, but he should be okay. But maybe that's a little sign of what we see from Ray. Ray's obviously very fast and wants to win this race, but maybe being a little conservative right there in the beginning.
Definitely not a bad approach at all. And something real quick about that incident, you guys. A couple people I was watching back there, 77 of Andrew Fiash III and Jeremy Thornton making his first career start, and Jesse Atchison, they completely stopped to miss that wreck, and they gained about 20 positions almost from that wreck. At least Jesse Atchison did. Incredible job by them stopping to miss the wreck. Very good. Could have been a race-saving move for them.
So the pace car lights are off. This time by, we'll go back to green with 5 laps completed of the 167 to run this evening. Parker and Gorlinski, your front row. Brad Davies in 3rd. Thomas Lewandowski up to 4th. Richard Towler shown in 5th in the 08. And then you have Alfala, Sheehan, Fogel, Blackford, and Hazard completing your top 10. As the pace car set to dock off, NIM, bring us to green.
Coming around turn 4 at Texas Motor Speedway here, very high bank. Coming off of 4 here, it is pretty wide, and you can run double foul, but pace car heads in. The Schwab for Men car, the Josh Parker car, leads them down. John Gorlinski gets a good start on the outside. He does have room to fall in underneath if he wants. The second row is still side by side, and Gorlinski will elect to fall in under Parker.
Looks like we have a battle up here for the 4th position. Richard Towler side by side with the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski. Ray Alfala on the top lane as well. Going into turn number 3, it looks like Parker's going to hold on and lead another lap here as the field exits turn number 4.
Towler fighting on that inside line, looking to pick up that position, but Lewandowski will take that outside line and take it to position number 4. Richard Towler back to 5th, and now Ray Alfala and Steve Sheehan go at it just behind last season's champion. Sheehan has the advantage at the moment off corner number 2.
Yeah, that big wreck we had, it was a lot of cars there like Brian mentioned that stopped and made the wreck much bigger than it was. Right now we have about 7 or 8 cars that are heavily damaged from that wreck, but most everybody else seems to be doing pretty good on the lead lap here and underway.
Looks like around 8th place here, the 33 of Brian Blackford by a lap or so ago, and Blackford's in line right behind Ray Alfala, just kind of feeling things out. It's the start of the race, but like I mentioned earlier, you guys, I'm expecting a great finish out of the 33 of Blackford, and on that start there, Ray Alfala was looking for a place to get in line, and that right now is the 7th position.
Here comes the 51 on the inside line, and you'll see the 51 go past Brian Blackford for position number 8. Patrick Fogel makes up one spot as he sets his sights on Ray Alfala in front of him for position number 7. It's single file throughout about your top 10. Here comes the 0-2 with Jeremy Allen. Allen makes a spot on Richie Davidowitz. Davidowitz moves back to 12th.
Yeah, Richie gave Jeremy a lot of room there as Jeremy dove under there. He washed up the track a little bit, and Richie let him go. But Brian Blackford now looking back underneath of Fogel as they go down into corner number 1.
The bottom is definitely the preferred line here around the Texas Motor Speedway here, and they're still side by side going into turn number 3 here. There's been a lot of give and take, but it looks like Fogel and Blackford are racing, well, decently hard. Nothing out of the ordinary for one of these races. These guys race really hard every single lap. I mean, you see give and take, but you still have to drive that car to the edge if you want to stay at the front of the series for a whole race.
Blackford makes the pass as here comes Thomas Hazard now on the number 9. He's looking at the number 51 of Patrick Fogel. Jeremy Allen and Richie Davidowitz within striking distance as well. Fogel looking to make that move back on Brian Blackford for position at number 8. As you look back from Patrick Fogel, you see the likes of Thomas Hazard, Jeremy Allen, Richie Davidowitz, Justin Lowry, and the rest of this field.
Hazard is your second place points guy, and we have trouble in the front straightaway.
Looks like the 38 of Chris Main, guys.
Looks like the 38 car of Chris Main may have had some trouble in the front away. We do stay green, though. He did get sideways. He had contact with the 96 car and was able to get it back underway.
He definitely gets it back underway, but you know, Chris Main here, a lot of his teammates qualified up front, and he didn't have that great of a qualifying run, and that kind of got him in the position he's in right now, but he'll keep driving the Spin Master Chevy, and you know, he had a great run at Dover last week, so he's trying to work on that again, but there's some pretty big damage to his car right now.
'77 battling for position. It looks like Jesse Atchison is up high in number 28, and that is the battle for 22nd, 23rd place. On back, Daniel Pope in the 18 just in front of this battle. Fantastic battling about mid-pack. And this is the time, Nim, where you really need to start moving if we're going to get a green flag run in here. You don't want to lose sight of your leaders.
Yeah, you don't want to lose sight, but you're also just, it's very early in the race. You're putting in laps. This is a 250-mile race. We're on lap number 14 of 167. So there's time right now, and you just want to get settled in. And once people get settled in, and they have right now, they can start making moves. A little bit of gas between cars, between battles, and now they can start making the moves.
Looking at the 28 of Jesse Atchison right now, the 80 of Vinny Sansone is looking under him. Jesse was one of the guys I talked about earlier, you guys, that kind of stopped to miss the whole wreck, and it looks like right now he's trying to hang on for what it's worth. The car doesn't look too good right now, but hopefully the guys on the number 28 car will work on it and get things going. But it's definitely that stage of the race right now where you got to think, all right, is my car okay? Can I get them one at a time? Because the one thing you can't do is you can't rush yourself and try and get too much too early like I did at Dover.
Here comes Chris Henyon on the inside, looking to make up a position on the 80. He does. Now here comes the 28 of Jesse Atchison to his outside. Chris Henyon making a move. Tyler Hudson going to follow him through in the 01. Hudson's had a fantastic season so far, 7th in points coming in and looking to make up a few more spots here. And great to see Turk up there in that number 63 car doing well here early.
Chris is very enthusiastic, and you hear him on the radio every time something happens or every time he's involved in something. He's always on the radio, very talkative, but thanking Mr. Hudson as he went by there the last time, as we have now Jesse Atchison making a move around the outside of Tyler. So Tyler struggling early on here.
Chris Henyon is definitely one of the more entertaining people in the garage area, but yeah, we're seeing the 28 car fall back some more here, guys. He's trying to hang on all you can, and also at this point of the race, if your car's off, it can be really frustrating right now, and the only thing you want to do right now is get down pit road, and I'm sure that's what Jesse wants to do. His car looks kind of tight, but could go either way.
Watching the 6 and the 2, Sheehan and Alfala battle for position number 6. Sheehan was all over Richard Towler a few laps ago. Looks like he's fallen back by about a car length. The 2 of Alfala now getting up there for that position.
It looks like Sheehan just a few laps ago got around Ray Alfala's. Ray on that restart was 6th. Now Alfala's back into the 7th position. But Ray looking pretty strong right now. Still biding his time. Nothing really should worry him too far right now. Still plenty of time to go. And like I said, he's your points leader. $10,500 to the point leader goes to the champion at the end of this season. So, he's got to be pretty smart about what he's doing here.
Speaking of problems, it looks like Josh Berry, the 72, he was involved in that wreck earlier, guys. He's out of the race with a blown engine. That's definitely going to hurt him. He's out of this race.
Your leader is the number 81, a Josh Parker. John Gorlinski in a second, and he is being hounded by Brad Davies. Davies all over the back of the Wrangler Chevrolet. The Whiskey River Chevrolet Impala looking to pick up position number 2.
Brad Davies, very strong, and usually Brad doesn't show his strength until later on in the race. He gets really close to that outside wall there coming off at the exit of corner number 2. But if Brad's showing the strength early on, his car must be really good, and he's going to be a real problem for these guys later on in the race.
Brad Davies is definitely one of the smartest drivers out here, and like you just said, Nim, if he's showing this much strength right now, it definitely could be trouble as this race progresses. Right now, Josh Parker, things are looking really, really good, but, he's always got to keep an eye out for his teammates in his mirror. They've definitely been the cream of the crop lately.
And we don't want to flash back to 2 weeks ago when Josh Parker led, I believe it was the first 65 laps of the race, Nim, and then got caught in traffic. And that was really his demise at the end of the day. Did not finish that race. That was 2 weeks ago when Josh Parker sat on the poles, ran out front, led 65 laps, and then had some issues. So we don't want to dwell on that, but right now Josh Parker out in front for the first 23 laps of this one.
Yeah, Josh did do very well in that race at Dover, and he does like the clean air on that car, and that can be his Achilles heel if he gets back in traffic. And like Brian said on the opening of the show, you're going to see different pit strategies, and if we do get a few yellows, you'll see some guys in the back that have taken on fuel and tires, and they will stay out under cautions and get up front, and that could be a problem for Parker. Remember also last race at Dover, Brad Davies had some connection issues, and we've seen connection issues be a problem for Brad in the past, so we'll have to make sure that he doesn't have any of those electronic issues here today, and he can keep that car connected the whole race.
Yeah, he's been moving up in the points too. He's been on quite the roll, so definitely hope he doesn't have any problems tonight. So far so good though, like you've been saying, and he just keeps creeping along behind the 21 Wrangler Chevy of John Gorlinski.
And a close call there. It looked like he was going to get underneath the number 21 of Gorlinski. Gorlinski nearly let him have the line underneath the Wrangler Chevrolet, but the 11 has to back off a little bit. Now there's about a car length between your second and a third place drivers as they battle for position. And everybody else right now, pretty single file throughout about your top 10. And this is at the point of the race, Nim, where we're looking at guys trying to log laps and get to maybe their first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, they're wondering what adjustments they're going to make. They may be already make their settings to the crew chief, telling them, hey, I want a pound of air in the right front or a pound out of the right rear, whatever wedge adjustments they might going to be making. They're thinking through all that right now. And plus, too, they're still getting a handle on it. We're on lap 21. We had a caution. Now you're starting to get the first green flag run, a lot of wear on the tires happening, and they're going to start making those decisions within the next 10 laps, preparing for their next pit stop.
Yeah, definitely, and this is the point of the race as a driver where we got trouble, guys. The 25 car of Richie Davidowitz is in trouble here. Big time problems. He's right on the bubble as well of trying to make the top 25 for next year or not. So this is not good for Richie Davidowitz. Looks like he lost it on his own.
And it looks like the 18 might get a piece of this as well, but I don't think this started at a corner number 4, and Nim, it looked like he had it safe for a little bit, but the wall was there and kind of didn't help in that effort.
Yeah, that's going to be some heavy damage to that car. He got a little bit loose coming off of the corner and was unable to save it. The 18 car of Daniel Pope II didn't get checked up in time, and heavy damage. That's going to be the end of the night for Davidowitz. I'm not sure if Pope's going to be able to get back either.
Richie was running in the 12th position too, so that's definitely going to hurt. He was, like I mentioned, he's right on the bubble for the top 25, and looked like he's having a great points night for that, but definitely not anymore. He's done. And
the bubble that Brian speaks of at the end of this season, if you're not in the top 25, in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship points. You have to fight your way back into the series for 2012 through the Pro Series. There's already a stout field of drivers qualified. I would not want to fall back and race against the likes of Kevin King, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jason Lofing. The list goes on and on and on, and drivers are still getting ready to qualify. Pit stop's going to happen here. Yes, they are. 81 going to come onto pit road, and he's going to bring a whole host of drivers with him.
Yeah, everybody brings them down pit road. The pit road speed limit today is 45 mile an hour. All these drivers will have to keep it under 45 mile, as we see Parker just hovering between 46 and 45 right there. He could get nailed for 46. There isn't that 5 mile an hour rule as you see in the NASCAR series, but you know, he could or he may not get nailed for that. So we'll see how it goes. But you got to be real careful with that, Brian.
You guys are going to see 2 tires here across the board, as it looks like, as Josh Parker comes out first, Lewandowski second, Sheehan third, Ray Alfalla fourth. And wow, that was a close battle there. I think John Gorlinski is going to come out fifth here, guys, but it's basically going to be 2 tires across the board here in gas for the duration of the event.
So Gorlinski going to lose a few position. We'll see how he does when we go back to green flag racing. Let's take this opportunity to step away, and we will bring you back live green flag racing from the Texas Motor Speedway. Don't go away. Welcome back to the Texas Motor Speedway for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Pace car lights are off, and we are getting ready to go green flag racing. Josh Parker, Thomas Lewandowski, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfalla, and John Gorlinski are your top 5.
Jeremy Allen made a good round, good pit stop there. His crew got him out pretty quick. That moves him up into the 6th position. Blackford 7th, Fogel 8th. Jeremy Thornton in his first race, running in the top 10 right now in 9th. And Brad Davies with a not a very good pit stop. Maybe he took 4 tires. We'll have to get down and check that out. But 4 tires for Davies. Most likely he's back to 10th.
Then 11th through 15th real quick. We got Byron Daly, Chris Henyon, Richard Tower, Thomas Hazard, Greg Spears. As the pace car is pulling off the racetrack, and we're about ready to get going here. The 81 Suave for Men Chevy. Josh Parker brings him down. And we are green.
Drivers put the hammer down, and the 81 of Josh Parker out in front. Great start. We might be going 2 or 3 wide back here, as it looked like Gorlinski nearly went 3 wide. Steve Sheehan going to take that 3rd place position away. Ray Alfala in a 4th, as Gorlinski going to look for that 4th place spot.
Richard Tyler got under Brian Darley right there and got him real loose coming off corner number 2. He was able to gather it back up, maybe on some soft tires there, soft air pressures, while the temperatures are coming up there. But Brian Darley doing a great job getting that car back underneath him.
We just mentioned Jeremy Allen. He had a really great pit stop, but he's going backwards. Davies is sideways. He saved it.
Oh, and now the free gets turned around, and there's wreck in turn 2.
Wow, what a save, guys.
Not a great save for Stephen Gilbert, though. Gilbert had to save it with a little bit of aid from the wall, as the caution flag will fly here, and everybody will take a deep breath and try to recuperate after the great save by Brad Davies.
Yeah, it looked like Steven, everybody's getting checked up there. Steven got tagged from behind. He just got turned around. Doesn't look like real heavy. He got into the wall a little bit there, but he'll probably be able to continue. But everybody did a pretty good job getting by. As, we always talk about what seems to always happen is Davies always seems to be a little bit loose on these restarts. And he got down to corner number 1 there, got loose, and that checked up a bunch of cars behind him.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the things you got to do, especially if you're Brad Davies, to have a car that's as great as it is. Right now, he's getting bumped, though, by the 63 of Chris Henyon, but that shows the type of caliber driver Brad Davies is to save it. But it's one of those wrecks right there where you probably won't hear too many people mad at each other. It's just one of those racing deal type of wrecks there. It's a chain of events that caused that wreck. The 11's probably going to the back here, guys, it looks like.
And you mentioned a great save by Chris Henyon through that wreck as well. A lot of drivers having to be on their A game on the restart on that green flag to save those cars and keep them out of the wall for the most part. Some of the drivers did get a little bit of the wall there, but out in front it is still Josh Parker, Thomas Lewandowski, Steve Sheehan, Ray Alfala, and John Gorlinski. And Nim, we've seen it on some of these restarts, and some of these guys want to go and go quickly. Is that the best way to make up positions here at Atlanta?
Well, here at Texas, there is a lot of cars, and any racetrack, it's very the most when you want to pick up the most spots you can is on the restarts. That's where everybody's grouped together. You don't have so much aero effects on your car as you do when they get single file, and you get to take advantage if you're on the inside of those cars on the outside lane. Since you're in the preferred groove, but yeah, on the restarts is when they're trying to make up most positions, and when this kind of thing can happen. And right there, Davies, it wasn't even a factor of cars fighting with each other. It's just that Davies got a little bit loose, and it caused that incident right there.
Yeah, that was definitely a crazy restart, though. I mean, you mentioned that Davies seemed like he and Byron Daly got together. That was Tower, but Davies, that was just crazy, and we'll see what happens here. Hopefully the tires will cool down here under this caution and he'll be okay. His car's got a little bit of body damage around it, but, we'll see if anything's bent or not here on this restart. I guarantee you'll find out how good he is really quickly here. The field's on 2 to go, I believe.
And as I mentioned, Atlanta looking at John Gorlinski, they're trying to make that move on that restart. John Gorlinski, Thomas Lewandowski, the Wrangler cars have been good these last few weeks. So I think it might be a Wrangler car that might be making a move here soon, but they have to get past Josh Parker. Parker has put on a show for the first 36 laps of this race. He might be the one to beat if he can, and we use a cliche, close the deal. He's been strong at the start of these races now, but just can't seem to get to the end and just can't seem to close the deal to get that win here this season.
Well, as long as he's out front, he's okay. And I know he'll probably hate to hear this, but he gets in trouble when he gets back in traffic a little bit. And, he's got to make things happen when he gets back there. And that's when he had his trouble at Dover. But, Josh is a great driver, and we've seen him over the last series and this season, make great improvements. He's always up front. He leads a lot of laps. But, when the pit stops change up and people are running on different schedules and that gets him back in the middle, it's when he could have some trouble.
Yeah, definitely, but it's definitely not a bad thing to wake up each morning and say I'm Josh Parker. Hopefully, he wants to get that win out of the way now, and it might just be tonight. A couple other people, we mentioned Brian Blackford, that veteran savvy driver right now is in the 6th spot. He's moving up a little bit. Patrick Fogel seems to be leading the charge for the main performance cars tonight as well. A couple of them, Brad Wright and Josh Berry, were in that wreck earlier. They're both out of the race, which is going to hurt them in points. Jeremy Thornton doing a marvelous job so far, 8th. Jeremy Allen, 9th. Still, and Richard Teller rounds out the top 10, and we're about half a lap away from the restart, Tim.
Should mention as well, some drivers out of this race are multiple laps down. I see Matthew Moose is still out on the racetrack, 12 laps down. Daniel Pope is 9 laps down in the number 34. I believe he is out of the race, but 36th on back. Berry, Wright, McKenzie, Spies, Hall, Mojica, Baldwin, Wood. They're all out of this race right now, and if they're not out, they're many laps down, trying to pick up some positions and pick up some valuable championship points. So keep an eye on that. Some of those front runners, especially you look at Derek Wood, who sits 6th in points, before we factor in those drop weeks, this could be a big week for him. This will definitely be a week that he has to drop, because right now he is shown dead last in 43rd place. Pace car getting set to duck onto pit road. It's Parker and Lewandowski going to bring the field to green. 37 laps will be completed right here as Josh Parker will lead this field back to green. Great start for Parker. Green flag follows.
Yeah, I think Lewandowski likes the fact that Parker got that great start right there, because that lets him fall down into the preferred line down the inside of the 2nd position. Ray will follow him right down through there. Korlinski's trying to go low on Blackford, trying to step back there.
And here comes 33 of Brian Blackford. He's going under Steve Sheehan. That puts Blackford up into 5th. I'm talking about him lots of him. Definitely got a good show. Sheehan finally gets in line in the 6th position.
So Blackford now will be scored in the top 5 as he looks in front of him and sees the likes of Gorlinski, Alfala, Lewandowski, and Parker. Parker already out by 0.3 of a second over Thomas Lewandowski as he starts to go away from this field. Here comes Fogel on the inside of the number 6.
It looks like we had trouble in turn 2. 6, the wall a little bit out 2, still green, but he lost a couple spots on that exchange there. But he seems to be okay and still underway.
Definitely not a great restart here. Sorry, Tim. Not a great restart for Sheehan, but here he comes under the 51 of Patrick Fogel. He's coming back.
And we're being told the yellow flag is out, and there is a car up in the corner number 2 wall. And 96, John Costa, is the driver that is up against that wall. And he may have had a little bit of trouble a few moments ago, too.
Yeah, it looks like John Costa had some trouble going down the corner number 1 there. Maybe he blew a tire. Something weird's going on down there with the car, but something broke in the front end. He went up across the track, nailed the wall pretty good, spun around and hit the wall again. But yeah, kind of a weird situation with that car.
Yeah, he just went straight up into the wall, and you know what? He's still sitting there, so I hope he's okay. It's a pretty hard hit, and it's definitely not going to help him in the points. He is way down there. You know what? He may have had something happen with his computer or something. But one thing we might have to look out for, guys, here is these guys around maybe 15th to 20th. All the way down to the end of the lead lap cars here. See if any of these guys come in to top off on gas.
Well, as Brian said there, that John Costa might have had some problems with his computer there. In case you're new to what we're doing here, this is iRacing.com or NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And what you're watching is all these drivers are racing from their home computers, from their PCs, from the comforts of their own home, and they're racing with people in competition that are from all over the world. Everybody racing right now for this championship that pays $10,500, and they are members of iRacing.com. And if you're interested, you can try out this type of racing and our membership at iRacing.com. Right now, there's a special going on. If you go to www.iracing.com, you can buy 1 month and get 2 free, so 3 total months for $12, and you can try out iRacing.com to see if it's something for you. But everybody in close competition for drivers from all over the world. And right now, about 30,000 members strong, and you can come race with us.
Looks like we had about 10 or so cars come down pit road. Definitely highlighted by the 45 of John Prather here. And we're just going to have to keep an eye out for this. We've had a lot of cautions to start this race, which is actually pretty surprising. This is one of the tracks you wouldn't expect that many cautions at, guys. And it's not really like it's been for rough driving or anything. It's just been a couple racing deals, and we saw Acosta have some problems with his car there or something. But definitely keep your eyes out for especially someone like the 45 of John Prather. If we get green flag pit stops, if Prather can go 3-4 laps longer than some of these guys, and they have to pit for gas, this could end up turning out really well for him if the race plays out right. And the reason why I bring this up is because it's worked out for me at least 6, 7, 8 times in all the DWC races I've run. So it's definitely happened a lot. Will it happen again tonight? Well, we'll just have to stay tuned and see.
We should mention as well, with all those cautions, we're starting to see a high attrition rate, which is something we don't usually see with this series. We have 11 drivers already out of this race, the most recent being Jean Costin, the number 96. Then you look back to Davidowitz, Pope, Barry, Wright, McKenzie, Spies, Hall, Mojica, Baldwin, and Wood. We mentioned those drivers once already. We'll mention them again. They are already out of this race, and we got 2 drivers that are laps down. Landon Harrison 3 laps back in the JDR sponsored ride, and Matthew Moose in the 14 car, who is 12 laps behind in the number 14, trying to pick up positions and pick up a few extra points. So the attrition rate's starting to pile up here, and something we're not accustomed to seeing, especially in these last few races throughout this summer stretch of 2011, is that the caution flag will fly more frequently than not. But I'm sure once we get to that halfway point on them, we're going to see a lot of green flag racing, and we're going to see some green flag pit stops. I just have a feeling.
Yep, and like we said, Josh Parker don't want to see all of these cautions that we're seeing right now, because this is what puts the guys from the middle on back on different strategies. And when we have a caution, or when he wants to make his pit stop earlier, he might have some guys stand out, which will put him back in the pack a little bit. So he wants to see this race stay green, so everybody pits together, and he's able to stay up front. But about probably 1 lap to go when the pace car passes the line here, and the 18 lane, as Josh has led over 300 laps in this series so far this season, and doesn't have any wins so far.
That's absolutely right, Nim. And I mean, the performance has obviously been phenomenal. And one thing you need to look at as well is with the latest build we've had, especially with this new tire, the cars, it seems like you have to slow down a little bit earlier trying to enter pit road. So it's one thing you've always seen, especially during warm-up and stuff. People practice, for green flag pit stops and all that, but it still is a little bit different when you're doing it for real. So I think definitely when you see green flag pit stops, just because of what's happened to Josh Parker in the past, he might take it a little bit easy entering the pits, but you know what? That's definitely worth it to be a little bit conservative on pit road entry instead of costing yourself a race like he's done before. So he just wants to keep the lead during green flag pit stops in case that happens. And, he had problems at Chicago a couple of weeks ago with green flag pit stops, so we'll see. I'm sure he's tired of me talking about him like that, so we'll give him a break for now. And the pace cars in turn 3, we're about ready to restart this race, Tim.
And on the front row, it is Parker and Thomas Lewandowski. Lewandowski went to victory lane as frequent as 2 weeks ago for his first win in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Pace car into the infield right here as Parker getting ready to see the green flag, and another great restart by Josh Parker. Green flag flies. He's going to let Ray Alfalla to the inside of the 16.
Yeah, Alfalla is going to have a really good restart here as he goes from the 3rd spot up in the 2nd spot. Lewandowski gets hung out on the outside line. John Gorlinski is going to go past him as his teammate on the inside there. So move Alfalla up in the 2nd, Gorlinski up to 3rd.
And this is definitely the highest Ray Alfalla's been, so we'll see how we can challenge. And it looks like now Gorlinski is going to take the spot. I know Lewandowski wants to get in line here in front of Blackford, and he'll do it. So you have the regular cars 3rd and 4th. Look at Gorlinski. He kind of threw a little, I won't say a block, but he wanted to defend his position. And now it looks like Lewandowski's looking inside of him. Gets a little bit sideways, but everything's under control. They exit turn 2 side by side.
The 2 Wrangler cars go door to door going into corner number 3. Here comes Blackford. Blackford's going to throw that car in underneath John Gorlinski, and Gorlinski going to slam the door on the 33, go back underneath Lewandowski. What a slide by Lewandowski. Great save by the 16.
Yeah, you see there's no team orders between those two cars as they're running each other as hard as possible. But Lewandowski, what a save coming off of corner number 4 there, able to gather it back up. Those rear tires he's going to have to be careful with there, Brian, because you know those rear tires are hot right now and they can be make that car even looser.
They don't like it when you get them hot, but Lewandowski is one of the guys that's always shown he's had as much car control as anyone out there. He's definitely not afraid to get that car sideways, and he is in the wall. Looks like he's going straight. We'll see if that bent anything or not. I see a little bit of right front damage on his car, but now you got Sheehan under him. Sheehan bobbles a little bit. He's gonna lose at least 2 or 3 spots. He gets sideways again. Is he gonna get in line behind Fogel here? He's gonna try, but here comes the 71. Jeremy Thornton. He gets in there, and he looks like Jeremy's gonna try and get by him as well. So this has not been very productive for Lewandowski, and it looks like he might even lose some more spots here. Here comes Davies as well.
You got to give a call out to Thornton on this number 71 car. A little bit of a slide at a corner number 4, but the 71 making an impressive first impression on this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And the 16, he's going to pass up Thomas Lewandowski, last time's winner of round number 15, or at least try to clear him here, Nim. Lewandowski give him a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, I think Tom right now needs to just follow, or ride as much as he can and find a clean spot, which he's going to find right here. But now he can get back at it, settle down for a few laps and then get back at it. But if you're going to fight hard up there, you're going to take a lot of risks. And he's back down the line now. Should settle down and get back in line, and now he can look forward on getting some of those positions back.
That's definitely a clear demonstration on how you'd rather be on the bottom as opposed to the top. Right now you're on board with the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski as you see Davies take the spot on Jeremy Thornton. That'll put Davies up into the 7th position, and now you have Lewandowski looking under him as well. Looks like Jeremy's going to give in. He's definitely racing very smart for his first race out here. He's got to be thinking, wow, I'm right here with Brad Davies and Lewandowski, and I got Richard Tower behind me. That's a pretty cool feeling. He's probably pretty happy right now.
A boatload of talent in between that number 71 car, or in front and behind of that number 71 car. You got Chris Henyon back there and Jeremy Allen also trying to get up here and get a top 10 spot as the 71 will now be shown in position number 9, and Richard Towler right behind him trying to get that position away. But for now, it's single file racing through it, but the top 15 these drivers at this point content to ride and maybe even log some laps here.
Yep, you think that's what they're going to do. And we've talked about it earlier that at different points that it's early in the race, we think they're going to settle in. But as we saw right there, Lewandowski running hard, these other drivers running hard, trying to get around them. They'll try to pick up any spot whenever they can. But it does seem like this might be a time where they're sorting out, and we could get a long green run here.
It definitely has that to it, Nim, and it looks like right now you see the 11. You are on board right now with the 11 Whiskey River Chevy of Brad Davies, and you can see he's starting to close in on Patrick Fogel, but this is definitely one of the best runs you've seen Fogel have all year, and it looks like Brad, that restart he had a couple laps ago hasn't really scared him, and it looks like he's starting to drive through the field. He's just picking them off one at a time, racing really smart here after that little restart mess, but he's definitely putting it behind him now.
And that's Patrick Fogel right in front of the number 11 of Brad Davies. And just in front of them, Brian Blackford trying to hold on over Steve Sheehan. Sheehan is coming to the front as well. So drivers starting to hit their sweet spots here on lap number 55, about 10 laps into a green flag run as we work that 55th lap of the 167 to complete as the 11 and 51 nearly have a moment in the corner.
Yeah, the 11 car is trying to make up some spots. From starting way back and having the issues he had earlier in the race, and he's doing pretty good, trying to work his way back up and give a call out to Patrick Fogel. Fogel up there running in the top 6 right now, having a good run himself, and we've seen him make some passes. Definitely a contender here today.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, he's definitely kind of leading the charge for the main performance cars. The next highest point for them would be Thomas Hazard, 13th, but Patrick's definitely a solid driver. I ran into him at Chicagoland, and he wasn't too happy, rightfully so, but he's definitely giving it a good run today. And, Davies is right behind him, but catching him is one thing, and passing him definitely is another thing, as you would say.
0-1 of Tyler Hudson as he makes the pass on the 38 of Chris Main, and Chris Main was up here in front of Greg Spears. He's going to dive underneath the 0-1 of Hudson once again, trying to make up a few positions that he lost. Charles Cosper is also in this battle. This is the battle for positions 15, 16, 17, and 18.
Chris making a run back through the field up into that 16th position right now, actually 17th position right now. From his slide through the grass, so not too worse for the wearer, making his way back up through these cars right now. Chris trying to head his way to the front.
Yeah, and you know, Chris had an adventurous start to the race, but it looks like he's starting to put together a another solid run. We'll see how this works out here, but it's definitely picking him off one at a time. He had a top 5 last race at Dover. You know, I kind of got into him as well. We're showing a lot of people I got into, but
that's why you're sitting here with us.
That's why I'm not racing. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm not racing. But definitely, Chris, I think you could see him in the top 10 by the end of the race.
Kind of reminds me of the run that Thomas Hazard had at Dover, where he had a wreck early in the race, albeit Chris Main didn't have a whole lot of damage from his spin. But Chris Main had a moment early in this race, and now he's starting to pick off positions and get back up near the front of the field. And keep in mind, Nim, we didn't see Thomas Hazard really until the end of that race at Dover. So it kind of reminds me of the run that number 9 had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I remember at Dover, the Hazard car, he did get in a wreck early. And as Main did bring the car back up towards the end of the race, and you're right, he was up there, but he didn't get in the top 5 till late in the race. And to expound a little bit on what Brian was talking about, Brian's sitting here in the booth with us. These guys, every wreck that happens there is reviewed by a review board, and the guys gather a certain number of points, and once they hit a certain number of incident points or points that they have for at-fault incidents, they can sit out a race for being involved in too many incidents or something like that. And it doesn't mean that a driver's a bad driver or anything like that. It's just very competitive and very good, and for these guys to have the same type of consequences for having bad decisions as the real-world sprint car drivers do, per se. You know, there's got to be consequences here in this type of racing, and Brian right now serving those consequences a little bit, but we'll see Brian back in 2 weeks at Phoenix and making his run towards the championship also.
Looks like we just had a position change here, you guys. That was for the 17th spot here. Tyler Hudson just went under Chris Main. Just as we were talking about him moving up, Hudson went by him, so definitely he's got to be wanting some adjustments on that car, maybe the 38. You know, he had a little damage earlier, and he's just doing the best he can right now. But the car I want to talk about is the one directly behind Chris Main, the 45 of John Prather. We talked about him pitting off sequence. Right now, he is just licking his chops going, come on, go green. I want green flag pit stops, and I want a caution during it so I can gain track position. Because it's one of those things, if you could get John up front, he could probably stay there right now with the way the type of racing is and everything. So right now, he is just licking his chops going, come on guys, keep it green, but give me a caution right when I want it.
And Prather right now runs in position number 19 as you watch the number 9 of Thomas Hazard. Thomas Hazard, second place in the standings, coming in and looking to make up one more point if he can get past Chris Henyon into the number 63. Just in front of him, the 02 of Jeremy Allen, and Byron Daly running this little pack as well, just outside the top 10.
Everybody getting sorted out here right now, Parker, through the top 10. Everybody's single file. So we'll take this opportunity to tell you about other NASCAR iRacing series going on iRacing.com this week. The NASCAR iRacing Class A cars, which are the Chevy Impala cars that you see here, they are racing at Chicagoland this week. And the B cars, which are the nationwide cars, are running at Phoenix. The C Series, NASCAR iRacing.com C Series is at Iowa. That's the truck series. The Touring Modifieds are at Martinsville this week. The weekly Modifieds, the NASCAR iRacing.com weekly Modified series are at Concord. And the NASCAR iRacing.com late model series is at Concord also. So if you want to come join us here at iRacing.com, you can join us and be a NASCAR driver yourself and start out in the legend cars, move up to the late models, and eventually race these cars that you see here.
Looking at the 08 right now, Richard Tower, he just went by Jeremy Thornton for the 9th position. I believe Tower finished 14th at Dover last week, which is kind of disappointing, but at the same time, with the year he's had, he said he's just happy to get points, and he's definitely looking at maybe just getting points right now again today. Obviously, last year it was a very different product. The competition was different. You had different drivers in here. You had some the same. You had some different ones, you know. Tires, the cars were different. But he's definitely had a very unfortunate year, and he's just looking... Yeah, he just had a moment there. Yeah, Tower just had a moment there, and you see the 71 all over him right now. But Tower's just looking to get points again. You saw that was almost a moment right there. It just seems like his type of year. Something always happens near him as you see his cars blinking a little bit, and we may have lost him.
And Josh Parker is now your leader in the number 81, Ray Alfala in second. And we keep talking about situations that could arise, Nim, and Richard Towler right now having one of those situations.
Yeah, Richard is from England, as we talked about before. All of these guys racing from their home computers, and Richard Towler is our NASCAR iRacing.com first series champion, our last season's champion, having a little bit of a connection issue, and that could be any type of issue from his home to the servers, or some hop along the way, having an issue. It looks like it's stabled out for him right now, and he's back and running okay, but he is having a tough season. One thing that we haven't talked about, guys, is relegation. You have to be in the top 25 in points to be guaranteed to be in this series next season. We're coming down. We got 2 races after this one, and that's what a lot of these drivers are shooting for, is to be in the top 25 in points so they can be guaranteed to be in this series next season. The guys in back of the top 20 or 26 on back will have to race with the guys who have made it into the Pro Series in this next quarter coming up, to see who qualifies for this series next season. And they don't want to be in that series, Brian, because as we know, there are a lot of drivers fighting for that series, and the competition is going to be crazy out.
It's going to be absolutely insane. You're right, Nim. And right now, speaking of drivers that run up front all the time, you have Ray Alfala. He's been closing in on Josh Parker a little bit. One of the things I wanted to note earlier is Ray restarted the last restart up there in the 3rd position, and he got second right off the bat, and I wanted to see what he could do with Josh Parker. Well, he's all over the back bumper here of Josh Parker. I don't know if he's going to be able to do anything or not. The lap times kind of flicker back and forth, and this is about the closest he's gotten to him. But real quick, Nim, what I want to talk about Richard Towler, the type of year he's had, he has things happen like that all the time, and you guys saw it right there live on TV. His car started blinking, and he went from 9th to 26th just like that. That's the type of year he had. But Ray's trying awful hard to get Towler. I mean, Ray's really trying to get Parker here, but I don't know if he can right now.
And if you're Ray Alfala, do you really want to push the issue right now? You guys are already pulling away from John Gorlinski. Pulled away from a 10th that last time by. If you're Ray Alfala, and we talked to him post-race last week, Nim, he says he's points racing, even though he has that huge lead. Do you really want to push the issue this early, about 14 laps or so shy this halfway point?
Well, he's not going to make any stupid moves. He's right there, and he's racing hard, but he's got plenty of room behind him. He's got Parker in front of him. He does want to be right in Parker's mirror to try to make Parker mess up a little bit, to try to take that spot. As we were talking about earlier, Ray has not won a race on this new tire model yet, and he wants to get this win. He doesn't want to just points race. He wants to show everybody that when he wins this championship, it's deserved, which we all know it is already, but he wants to win it by racing hard, and he's got the best car right now. He's going to try to make a move for the lead, and it's going to be a safe move, and he can trust Parker to race him pretty clean. But right now he's making a move down turn 1.
Here he goes. Ray is right inside of him, and it looks like Parker's going to roll in right behind him. So just like that, Ray Alfala's gone to the lead. You know what, guys? This is exciting because we were talking about, can anyone challenge the Junior Motorsports cars? Well, if anyone can, it's got to be Ray Alfala. He's just got so much natural talent. Just for him to take the lead right there, that was really big, because I can assure you right now, with the way the racing is and everything, that was a hard pass.
Josh Parker to pit road in the number 81 Suave for Men Chevrolet Impala. After leading the first 75 laps of this race, the 81 is now coming to the attention of his crew, and it looks like he may be the only one at least your top 5 on pit road here, Nim.
This seems really, really early to me. It's only been about 36, 37 laps since the last caution, and you know, maybe they did pit a few cautions before that, but boy, this seems pretty early for a pit stop right now. If it works out for him, he may gain some time with the fresher tires, but it's a big risk right now, and this could be one of those things that put him back in the pack.
Definitely, and I mean, not to state the obvious, but the last thing he wants right now is a caution. And he definitely took 4 tires there. You're going to see a lot of 2 tire changes under caution, but when you need the gas like he needed it right there, he's just going to take 4 just to get it out of the way right there. But I definitely think, Nim, this is a little bit early, like you said. He really doesn't want a caution right now. The 45 of John Prather, though, right now, he definitely wants to see more people come down pit road and hope he gets a caution at the right time. But Parker got in there. It looked like pretty good. We're just going to have to see how this works out, you know, when Ray pits and wins out as the leader after all that.
The 2 has stacked 3/10 more onto his lead than he had when he took the lead from the number 81. It's now about 1.8, 1.9 seconds between himself and John Gorlinski, as Gorlinski is about to have some company here in a few laps' time as Brian Blackford begins to close. It's about 4 car lengths in between his second and third place. It looks like we might have another car down on pit road.
Yeah, Brad Davies hits up pits stall right now. He's going for 4 tires on pit road. Parker, after that pit stop, 1 lap down in the 30th spot.
And definitely something we've seen with this new tire is there's not as much fall off as the old tire, so it's not like he's going to be able to just go by these guys going 3-4 seconds a lap quicker. Brad Davies, as I mentioned, you know, he kind of did the opposite of what I thought there. He took 2 tires and he's coming out right now onto the racetrack. Looks like we got the 91 of Byron Daly that's coming on pit road right now as well.
Your leader continues to be the number 2 of Ray Alfala. Gorlinski now has company with Brian Blackford in his second and third, and your top 3 will stay out on the racetrack this time by Sheehan in a 4th. He stays out, as does your 5th place driver, Thomas Lewandowski.
Coming up pretty soon here on halfway, about 3 or 4 laps to halfway point, working lap 182 right now of 167. So just a few more laps, we'll be halfway. Ray currently turning some pretty good lap times, about 2.2 second lead over his nearest competitor, that's John Gorlinski, back there in the 2nd place car. Brian Blackford right there, maybe getting some ideas to put some challenges to Gorlinski. Blackford having his best run of the year so far.
It's definitely got a great feeling here for Brian. I mean, he ran in the top 10 all race at Dover, and now just look at him right here. But let's also look at the 71 here of Jeremy Thornton. You know, your first career race in this series. I mean, my gosh, he's running right there, guys, in 7th position at the moment. I mean, 6th now. He was 7th, and he's just got to be jumping up and down in the seat right now as he gets a little sideways out of turn 4, but no major incident there. Just doing a really good job. He's definitely one of the pro drivers we're going to have to keep on the lookout for, you know, as the Pro Series happens. But, yeah, he's exiting turn 2 a little high here, but everything looks good here for him.
And just behind him, Henyon smacked the wall coming out of corner number 4 that last time by. You want to talk about pro drivers to watch. Henyon might be one of those on the list, as Fogel just in front of him, the 71 of Jeremy Thornton. Really one of those drivers that's looking to make a name in the Pro Series coming up, as the 08 of Richard Towler and the 77 of Andrew Fayash go at it for position number 19.
Yeah, this is just an example of how hard this series is going to be even next season, or how much this series is going to, the competitiveness is going to improve next season. Here we have 2 guys, one guy in the 2nd race, one guy in his 1st race. They're up running in the top 10. And, you know, they're giving these guys fits here. And the Pro Series that's going to happen here in the 4th quarter that leads up to next season's series is just going to be so competitive and so exciting to see who's going to make it into those final 25 spots and give us our final 50 drivers for the championship, for the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship Season 3.
It's definitely going to be a great one for the fans here, Nim, for sure. And you see Chris Main here, the Spin Master Chevy. Took 4 tires, and Chris Main is away. Andrew Fayash is also on pit road right now. He's leaving. Everything looks good there.
Your top 5 have yet to come down pit road as they battle for position, or at least second and third are battling for position, as Ray Alfala will bypass pit road this time by. As here comes Blackford on the inside of the 21 of John Gorlinski, side by side for second, and the 33 going to take the spot. Blackford up to second.
Brian, you were 8th in points coming into this race. You had to miss this race, but you're in the money in that point series. How do you believe that this race will affect that? And how do you feel that being in the top 25 for the rest of the season? Do you feel like you're solidly in?
I feel like I'm pretty good for the top 25, Nim, but definitely the thing that was devastating for me is I feel like as a driver I should have easily finished top 10 in points these first 2 years, and I don't think I'm going to do it either year. But we'll see. Should be good for top 25 here, but, you know, enough about my sad story for now. Here comes Thomas Lewandowski, last week's winner. Here he comes. He's a couple pit stalls away. He stops nice and easy. Doesn't overshoot, which is always good. They got the right sides up here. Let's see if he's going to take 2 or 4. My money's going to be on 4 here. Yes.
And your money's going to be good, Brian. 4 tires on the Wrangler number 16, as it looks like we got a couple of more cars heading down onto pit road this time by, including the 21 of John Gorlinski. Gorlinski taking the opportunity to pit his Wrangler Chevrolet onto pit road. Couple of pit stalls away as he will roll to a stop, and Gorlinski's crew will go to work as the right side tires will go up on that race car, so at least taking 2. Is he going to take all 4 tires? Yes, he will. 4 tires for Gorlinski.
Alfala's still your point leader. One thing Brian has in his advantage, he does have 2 drop races. I'm not sure what his worst races were like, but he'll probably still come out of here with top 10 points. So it's not so much of a sad story, Brian. We're all rooting for you. I think you'll do all right.
Yeah, thanks. We'll have to see. We got the 0-1 right now. Tyler Hudson, our producer gave me the wrong car number there. That's all right. You got Tyler Hudson at 6. Here he comes. Producer jumped the gun there, but Tyler Hudson is coming on down.
And it looks like the 0-1 of Hudson, after having a solid run last week, or check that 2 weeks ago, talking about drivers who could have very well won their first race, Nim, Tyler Hudson was right up there trying to win his first race in this series. Now he's on pit road getting tires.
Yeah, Tyler always pretty competitive up there. A number of drivers coming down pit road, or their pit crews are up on the wall. Chris Hennion looks to be working his way out on pit road. Ray Alfala is on pit road. Your leader is on pit road. Richard Taller calling his way up in the pit wall. Brian Blackford's crew up on the pit road. Now that we see the leader come down pit road, we'll see everybody else come down.
Definitely, Nim. It's that time of game right now, and John Prather's still out there. He can go out a few more laps. Here's Blackford, your second place car when he came in. Well, actually, he's the leader when he came down pit road, but he was in second. I'm definitely sure he's going to take 4 tires here. Thomas Hazard's your leader right now. We got a car spinning right now, guys.
Looks like Jeremy R. Allen had a little excursion through the grass, but actually that's Nolan Scott, the 06 car, had a little excursion, but able to keep going.
That right there, Nim, is what I was talking about. Something like that could have been the caution right there that gave John Prather what could have been the lead. You got our race leader right now, Thomas Hazard, coming down pit road here.
And your second place point man coming down as well, Thomas Hazard. Big stop for the main performance PC car as he will head to the attention of his crew as the 9 will stop and the right side tires will go up on that race car. At least 2 tires for Thomas Hazard. Expecting 4. Your leader now is John Prather, and we talked about it before, Nim. John Prather using that pit strategy. Now he's hoping for that caution.
Yep, it looked like everybody's doing a good job right now, though, staying out. Still a possibility for the caution coming out here. We only have about 10 drivers on the lead lap right now. Ray Alfala and Josh Parker, Brad Davies, the guys who were running quick up there earlier, able to stay out. And one thing that's interesting, guys, the Brad Davies car who made his pit stop, he's ahead of Parker and Alfala.
We're looking right now at the 71 here. Jeremy Thornton was all sideways there out of turn number 2. And also, I saw the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski hit the wall, but at this point in time, this is the time when I'd be jumping up and down the seat going, come on, caution, come on, caution. Just be yelling it over and over and over again, but looks like John Prather's finally had to bring it down pit road. He's got 4 tires, and the Tax Slayer Chevy is gone and away again.
Joshua Lawton is your leader with Vinny Sansone in second, and it's a great battle for the lead right now. These drivers have not come down pit road, but they are battling it out for the lead position. Just behind them, it's Thomas Hazard trying to get his 1 lap back. Lawton leads him down the back straightaway.
The Thomas Hazard car is your second car in points right now, and he is trying to get himself unlapped right here. But this is what we talked about earlier. These 40 and the 80 are on a little bit different pit strategy, able to stay out a lot longer because they made pit stops at the end of that last caution when a number of drivers didn't. But they're trying to get their way back as we have a battle in the 6 car and the 7 car. Josh Parker and Ray Alfala are having a battle for position here.
Looks like the 28 of Jesse Atchison just spun entering the pits, no incident there. And you got Ray Alfala right now going under Josh Parker. Yeah, it looks like Brad Davies taking 2 tires is going to be your leader after everything cycles through, and Ray Alfala second, Josh Parker will be third. Once the 40 and the 80 pit.
And I believe the 40 may have signaled that he is coming down this time by Joshua Lawton. May be heading to the attention of his crew. Yes, he is slowing down. The 80 of Sansone goes high. And Josh Lawton, big wiggle from Lawton. He's going to come on to pit road, and he nearly lost it, slowing down to that 45-mile-an-hour mark.
Yeah, it's not easy getting on pit road. You got the transaction. You're trying to get the car woed down, and you're on older tires. It's difficult, and you're trying to get as much as you can because when you're coming down pit road, you could make up a lot of time getting into the pits very quickly as to compared to somebody who didn't. So it's a good time to make up a lot of time on the field if you can get down the pit road very carefully. But it's also a time where one mistake can cost you a whole lot of time on the track.
It is a very, very, very fine line, Nim, and it looks like Josh Lawton got 2 tires there. Wants to minimize the time he's on pit road for sure.
And down the back straightaway, your leader is still Vinny Sansone. I anticipate Sansone to maybe even come in this time by, which would hand the lead back over to Brad Davies. And here comes the number 80. He will surrender the lead here, and he will slow it down to 45 miles an hour and surrender the lead to the number 11 of Brad Davies. Davies is still down the back straightaway, though. Sansone might lead this lap. No, his pit box is before the line.
Brad Davies does cross the line to take over that top spot. Ray Alfala will be 3.9 seconds behind him. Josh Parker 4.5 seconds behind your leader. John Gorlinski will be fourth. He'll be 6.6 seconds behind the leader. And then Brian Blackford 7.5 seconds behind Brad Davies. Brad Davies able to pull out of a little bit of lead on this round of pit stops because he took 2 tires. We believe that the other cars in the top 5 took 4 tires in this exchange. So we'll see, Brian, if this makes a difference or if Brad made a good decision here.
What'll definitely be interesting, Nim, is you saw a lot of people take 4 tires there. We know for sure they'll take 2 the rest of the race, but what does Davies do? Does he take 2? He certainly can't take 4 again. Period. I mean, he can't for sure, but we'll see what happens here. It looks like Ray's starting to run him down a little bit, but 3.8 seconds now is going to be awfully hard to make up through this stint. He's gaining on him about a 10th a lap, but, obviously it's a great strategy on his part, but the last stops will definitely be interesting to see. You'll probably just see a bunch of gas only here on the next stop. You just want to be in there for a couple of seconds and get out.
And the gap has stabilized right now between Davies and Alfala. In fact, Davies inched away just a little bit. That last lap pass over Ray Alfala, and Alfala is about a second ahead of Josh Parker right now in the number 81. Last time by 3.89 seconds between your top 2, and it's 3.94 now. So Brad Davies seems to be inching out just a little bit as Josh Parker now loses some time on Ray Alfala again. So it looks like Brad Davies out of your top 3 right now, Nim, currently the fastest.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing we want to keep an eye on, and one thing that we want to note, Vinny Sansone, right now running in the 27th position. He stayed out the longest that last run, and he'll have to stay out about 65, 67 laps or so to make it to the end of the race. Is it possible, Brian, that he might be able to go the full distance from here? Is that why he was stretching as long as possible? I believe if anybody can do it, he'd be the only person possible that would possibly do that.
That's probably what he was doing, but the biggest problem for him is he's a lap down, so that's an awful lot of time to gain, because actually the more I think about it a little bit more, I think these guys will definitely take something like gas only, so it won't be a normal, long, stop by any means. I think they'll probably be in there maybe 4, 5, 6 seconds.
And Brian, I know the fans out there are accustomed to seeing you up here. They're accustomed to seeing you in the car. I know we had a question from Lance asking you what it's like to have this off week and how is it going to affect your strategy maybe going into the next race that we have in this NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
It definitely won't affect the strategy too much. You obviously go out and try and want to finish in the top 5. Try and win every race you can. I obviously haven't won a race yet, so I'd love to win it somewhere like Phoenix. But definitely, Lance, the biggest thing was it's just a bummer sitting around for 2 weeks going, man, I don't get to race next week. So it's more like I don't get to race for a month because, we race every other week. So it's kind of sad because, as a racer, at heart you want to be racing all the time. But, we'll be back at Phoenix and we'll try and win that one or run the top 5.
And while we have the opportunity to, while we are racing under the green flag, let's take this opportunity to get some sights and sounds of the Texas Motor Speedway. Crank those speakers up and enjoy the sights and sounds of the iRacing Motorsport Simulation and the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And you see the 0, 2, and 51 battle for positions 12 and 13 as Jeremy Allen tries to pull away from Patrick Fogel, and just in front of them it's side by side, but I believe that's not for a position as it is the 85 of Jordan Erickson up high, and he is 1 lap down to Byron Daly. Daly in the number 91, great run for him so far. Nem, he's running in a top 10.
Byron Daly having a great run today. You're right, top 10 car. We don't see a lot of Byron up there. Actually, move him up to 9th spot. So Byron Daly having a great run here today. Congrats to him and his team. We know they work hard, and we know they don't get a chance to run up in the top 10 all the time, but doing a great job here today.
Byron's definitely one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. He's just got a good heart. I believe he was the Pro Series Rookie of the Year last year. He's just got a good heart, and it's good to see him having a really good run. Also, Jeremy Allen in 11th, he's a really nice guy as well. He's in 11th right now, having a good run as well. But both of them definitely having some pretty good days for sure.
And just behind them, the 85 continues to fall back at Jordan Erickson. Erickson had a fantastic run a couple of weeks ago, but it seems like it's been a roller coaster season for that number 85, and you might see the 85 having to qualify his way into the 2012 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship through that pro season in the off-season of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. I tell you what, Nim, that's going to be a fantastic season to track.
Yeah, it will be. As also, we want to document that Richard Tyler, who was having connection issues earlier in the race, finally got dropped. So it looks like his woes continue. He was 23rd in points in the drop races. He was 23rd, just inside relegation by about 13 points, and now he's dropped from the race and is going to lose a bunch of spots here, and that might put him out of relegation. And he is your season 1 champion in NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. So, you know, it's big news for Richard Tyler, maybe not be able to make relegation.
Definitely, and now we have the 01 and Tyler Hudson in the pits. It looks like he's definitely short pitting this. Looks like they're going to take the right side tires here. He's definitely working the race backwards or something. Yeah, it's definitely 2 tires and he's away. But that'll be the last time he's done pitting. This is really risky right here because now he's a lap down. I don't really think I would have gone with this strategy, but you know what? That's Tyler Hudson, not Brian Schoenberg, so he's got nothing to lose, I guess.
Out in front of your field, it continues to be Brad Davies over Ray Alfalla. Now it's 4.3 seconds between your top two, with John Gorlinski in 3rd. 4th is Brian Blackford, and 5th is Steve Sheehan at this point. And they're all strung out for those positions, Nim, as the green flag racing continues on here on lap 119.
Leader Brad Davies is in lap traffic right now. He's fighting with the 77 car. That's Andrew Fash, the 3rd up there. Tyler Hodson also trying to work his way through, but Fash going a lap down right here. Brad Davies losing a little bit of time, but not a whole ton of time to the 2nd and 3rd place car. Right now his lead 3.988 seconds.
In this 2-tire change that Brad Davies did on his last pit stop could have been brilliant, especially if some of these leaders here only take gas only when they pit later here, but this could have been brilliant for him.
So out in front once again, Brad Davies. 2nd place you're seeing on your screen right now is Ray Alfalla, the Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet Impala. 3.7 seconds behind your leader, and about 3 seconds up on 3rd place right now, which belongs to John Gorlinski. Your top 3 really have no pressure for position behind them. Blackford has about a second between himself and Steve Sheehan, so there's no pressure right now at this point for your top 5. Get to that final pit stop and then maybe turn the wick up just a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting down to it, and he's going to have to turn the wick up soon here. Right now, we are working lap 122, so probably about 45 laps to go from here as they cross the line, starting on lap 143. So 45 laps to go from here, and you know, it's time to go. We saw Tyler Hudson make his pit stop, and all these other guys are wondering when they should make their pit stop too. So if we're going to see any moves, it's time to go.
Right now we got a battle here. The 51 of Jeremy Thornton is all over the back bumper here of Patrick Fogel. This is for the 12th position. You see Fogel's getting pretty sideways right there, but he's got some good car control. He hangs onto it right there, and looks like the 71 is going to get by without incident. Fogel gets in line behind him, and nothing really out of the ordinary there.
And just in front of them, a great run for Greg Spears so far this evening. Give a call out to car number 90, Greg Spears, who just knocking on the door of a top 10 run. He's got Jeremy Allen just about a second in front of him. So Greg Spears, one of those drivers that we really don't see up front very often, Nim, having a fantastic run here in the later stages of the race at Texas.
Yeah, he is having a great run. We'll give a shout out to a number of these drivers: Chris Hennian, Brad Daly, Spears, Jeremy Thornton in his first race, Charles Cosper up there running good, Chad Coleman 17th in the top 20, Stephen Gilbert, Joshua Lofton, and Andrew Fash the 3rd. We just saw go a lap down. He is in the top 20 also. So a lot of good guys, who support the series every week and run hard every week, and very good drivers. We're having very good races tonight.
We got your race leader right now. Brad Davies has brought it onto pit road. Let's see what he does here, guys. It'll be really interesting. He stops nicely into the stall here. Looks like he's going to at least take right sides here. I'm sure that's all he's going to take here. right sides, gas, and the Whiskey Rip. No, 4 tires. Wow, look at that. This could definitely change the balance of things, depending on how much gas and everything Ray needs, but definitely interesting there as Davies has gone away, guys.
Big move by Brad Davies. He will return to the racing surface, and he will hope for the green flag pit stops to cycle through at this point. Ray Alfala is now your leader with John Gorlinski running in position at number 2. Blackford, Sheehan, and Lewandowski are your top 5. And correct me if I'm wrong, Nim, I believe out of these top 5 drivers on the racetrack, I believe those 2 Wrangler cars might very well be next.
Yeah, they're going to be coming down pit road here shortly. That was a big deal for 4 tires for Davies right there, because that's going to cost them some time. Where the other drivers, like Alfala and the other crew, they took 4 tires the last stop. So most definitely they're going to be taking 2 tires on this round. That's going to be an advantage for them, and possibly a good deal for Alfala. His crew's letting them know right now, hey, Davies took 4 tires this time. We're only going to take 2, and we'll see how this sorts out. Maybe Alfala will be able to make up that gap of 3 or 4 seconds on Davies.
Got the 21 here, John Gorlinski, second place. He just went by the 06 and Nolan Scott there. He's a lap down. But definitely, Nim, it depends on gas and everything, how this is all going to work out. But be interesting to see how it works for sure. And there's a lot of guys right now. I'm looking at Chad Coleman, Josh Lawton, Stephen Gilbert right now. They're on the tail end of the lead lap. They would really love a caution right now. It would change a lot of things up in this race. But I can guarantee you, Brad Davies and Josh Parker definitely don't want a caution right now.
Tom Lewandowski has just left pit road in the number 16, so one of the 2 Wrangler cars have hit pit road for the final stop, so we anticipate John Gorlinski to be in within the next couple of laps or so as Ray Alfala continues to lead, and John Gorlinski will bypass pit road this time by.
Andrew finished the 3rd, made his way to pit road. Thomas Lewandowski also on pit road.
And as these drivers continue to work around under the green flag condition, we did have another question for Brian Schoenberg as Justin Lowry decides to come down pit road now, and he will surrender the 16th place to do so. Brian, with all the fan support that this series has, how does that fan support you going throughout this season? How does it affect you and your morale from week in to week out from people that you probably don't even know?
Well, the fans are definitely great. You get mixed reviews. I have people that absolutely love me and people that hate my guts. We used to make videos of in-car communications with myself, and a lot of people hated it and a lot of people liked it. But, you know, the fans are definitely good in Arkansas for sure. Give a shout-out to Kenneth O'Keefe as well. He's definitely a fan and someone I work with a lot. But the fans are definitely great, and they definitely make the series a lot more interesting as you're on board with 11 of Brad Davies.
We remain green flag racing. Ray Alfala continues to lead. Gorlinski second. Blackford, Sheehan, and Hazard are your top 5. As it looks like Gorlinski continues to be out on the racetrack. Couple of laps more than his teammate did, Nim. Last time on that green flag run, the first green flag pit stop that we saw, it was Gorlinski pretty much shadowing his teammate down pit road.
Yeah, definitely. We had a problem there. Patrick Fogel got crossed up with a car coming down pit road and had to check up. He lost it a little bit, got up into the fence pretty hard, and probably did some heavy damage to the right side of that car. But, yep, you're right. Gorlinski and Thomas Lewandowski, they work very close together and probably on very similar stops.
That was a big hit there by Fogel, like you were saying. The car definitely looks like it's bent or something. It's just wiggling all over the place right now, too, so that wasn't good.
As your leaders bypass pit road once again, lap 136 is being worked on the board by your leader, Ray Alfala, as Ray right now has all but 13 drivers one lap down now, and in front of him he has a whole host of cars, including Dana Weimer. Just in front of him, Lawton, Erickson, and Thornton about to go one or maybe even a second lap down if you're the like of Jeremy Thornton and Dana Weimer. as Ray Alfala continues to pick him up and lay him down, trying to get closer to that $10,500 check.
Jeremy Allen's crew up on the pit wall right now as he's been getting called down pit road. All these guys, some of them are trying to stretch it out. They're working lap 136 right now. Next time by, we'll be working lap number 137. So 31 laps to go next time by from here. So probably within 10 laps, these guys will be pitting as Byron Daly announces he's headed to the pits.
Now, there's one thing Ray needs to keep in mind as he sees the 51 wiggle right in front of him here. Ray wants to stay out as late as he can because, you know, in case a caution comes out. But he's also going to lose some time passing some of these cars, lapping him. So right now, Ray's in a no-win situation. He can't pit because he doesn't want a caution to come out. But he's also losing time passing these lap cars here. I mean, they're giving room, but it's still costing him 2, 3, 4 tenths a lap sometimes at most. So Ray's kind of in a interesting situation here where he's kind of in trouble on both ends. It still might work out for him, but either way, they're both things he definitely has to consider.
And we did have one more question, and we'll get to that right now before we see the likes of Ray Alfala, John Gorlinski, and Brian Blackford come down pit road. Brian, there are some different teams. We keep talking about JR Motorsports. We talk about Ray Alfala and a couple of other drivers. How big is the team aspect? Is it just setups, or is it sharing notes or what have you outside of possibly the on-track help?
Definitely setups and all that is everything. Obviously, with the restrictor plate tracks like Daytona, Talladega, we don't have the two-car tangos. I'm going to stop right there because we have caution out on the racetrack right now. I'm going to stop right there. We'll get back to that question. Fogel's in trouble here. This is definitely going to change the race completely, guys, because there's only 7 cars, 7 on the lead lap. This is a huge break for Ray.
And a tough break for Chad Coleman, who just came down pit road, and it looks like, to me, it snapped loose, got into the wall, and it spun around in the number 51. He just could not save it. Oh, boy, John Gorlinski, close call for him.
Yeah, it looks like the right rear of the 51 car, the right rear tire blew. You can see as he goes down the back straightaway. This is probably from the damage he got earlier, but the right rear tire, you can see the left front is up in the air, and the left rear, or the right rear tire blew on that car. That's what sent them spinning. I
guarantee you, though, right now, Nim, Ray Alfala, Gorlinski, Blackford, Sheehan, Hazard, Hennion, Prather, those 7 guys are the only guys on the lead lap right now. I can hardly talk, but they are jumping up and down because no matter what happens, these 7 guys are going to be the top 7 on the restart. Might not be that order, but they're guaranteed they're going to restart on the top 7 here. A lot of cars will probably take the wave around, maybe, but this is absolutely huge for these guys. They're definitely jumping up and down, and fans of those drivers are as well. It's great for them.
And I believe most of those drivers are going to come down on pit road. I believe the only one out of the top 7 that's not going to come down pit road here is Chris Hennion, as Ray Alfala gets into his box. The right side tires are going up on the Pro Geek Consulting number 2. Do we see a 4-tire stop here? No, we don't. 2 tires for Ray Alfala. He is down and away.
Yeah, this will be interesting. All the guys who stay out, all the guys who pitted, they'll get a wave around and be able to tag the rear of the field. But Brian's right. These 7 cars will be able to stay out.
There's one thing that is worth saying, and it could happen. Chris Hennion right here, he's the lone pro driver in this field. He's got nothing to lose. If he stays out as late as he can, he might trap these cars a lap down if he stays out to 1 to go. That's something to consider too. I'm not saying he will, but if Chris Hennion stays out late enough, he could trap everyone 8th on back a lap down here. We'll see.
And we'll see how that plays out. We are going to take a quick commercial break and come back. It looks like Hennion might be heading down to the apron. Indeed, he is. So it looks like Chris, maybe he's faking here. We'll hold on to this here and just to see if he decides to come down pit road this time by or not. The pro driver looks like he will come down onto the apron, or is he going to throw us a fake? He is going to come down onto pit road. So he's going to come down, get his stop done, and we're going to take a quick pit stop here as well. We will bring you back to the final 25 laps of racing from the Texas Motor Speedway. You are watching round number 16 of 18 on the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. Don't go away. Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship from the Texas Motor Speedway, round number 16 of 18 on the season. Ray Alfalla is your leader, John Gorlinski second, Blackford, Sheehan, Hazard, top 5. Prather, Henyon, Davies, Coleman, Parker, top 10, all on the lead lap. Back to 14th place is on the lead lap, Lewandowski, Lawton, Scott, and Sansone. Pace car is in. We are getting ready to go back to green. Little bumper tag being played about mid-pack. And Ray Alfalla won a start by the 2.
Alfalla gets a good start out there. Brian Blackford falls in the second place, followed by Gorlinski, Sheehan, and Hazard. Hazard doing a good job. Second place in points, holding on to that second place, up in the 5th spot right now, but gaining no ground on Alfalla. And if he's able to do this, we got a car backwards in turn 2.
We got the 3 over here at Stephen Gilbert and the 06 and Nolan Scott around. Caution is out, guys.
And looking at that pass, we're going to look at the replay of the wreck, but looking at that pass as that caution flag happened, the 21 and the 33, a little bit aggressive as the caution flag did come out. The 33 is going to get the position back because he was scored ahead of the 21 at the point of caution, but the 21 of John Gorlinski, I don't know if he really appreciated that move going on to turn 1 in that restart.
Yeah, maybe not. But the three car spun around Stephen Gilbert. It looked like he was able to spin around and everything okay, but Nolan Scott was unable to avoid him on the back straightaway and ran right into him, and that ended Stephen's night. But Nolan not able. I believe these two guys got together earlier, coming off of turn number 2 when not of their own doing, but when some cars got crossed up in front of them. But second time tonight, these two cars had a little bit of paint trading on coming out turn 2.
Yeah, Stephen Gilbert's car was bouncing and everything, you know, on this Texas surface. I mean, the higher you get, it gets pretty bumpy up there, and the car was bouncing around, and he lost and got hit there. But right now, if I'm the 33 of Brian Blackford, I'm whispering to John Gorlinski, you know, trying to get everything sorted out, because both of those guys have had phenomenal runs the whole race, and you definitely don't want to end it over an incident here. So definitely, if I'm Blackford right now, I'm talking with Gorlinski. We're trying to do damage control in between each other, because we really don't want to end our nights. We worked so hard to get ourselves in this position. You don't want to throw it all away, because it's just too hard to earn it.
And I know we were talking about teammates just a few moments ago, Brian. Let's go back to that point with the teammates and some of these drivers that might be working together in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship.
Yeah, teammates are definitely huge. I mean, mainly it's for setups. The point I was trying to bring about earlier is, at Daytona and Talladega, you have that two-car tango stuff and all that, but that's only 2 races here. But as far as teammates, I mean, really working on setups and everything, that's about where you want to be. I mean, I've worked with Ray Alfala and Jason Loafing forever now, and I'm just so blessed to have both of them because, Ray and Jason make really good cars, and Ray obviously is looking really good here tonight. And, before the new tire came out, I was 3rd or 4th in points, so things were looking really good at that point. So I know I can drive, but definitely it means the world to have good equipment, and Ray right now is just putting on a very, very phenomenal show. But aside from setups and everything, they really don't make a huge difference.
Now, of course, if you haven't heard the name Jason Loafing, you might hear his name coming up next season. Of course, he is a pro driver coming up and trying to make this series next season. Of course, a Landon Castle qualifying challenge winner as well. And Brian, what's going to happen next year when J-Lo, if he makes this series next season, he's on the track, you're on the track, Ray Alfala's on the racetrack. Are you guys going to get a 1, 2, 3 finish?
We'll see about that. I know Jason's a good driver, and, if I was half as good as Ray Alfala was, I'd be jumping up and down right now. I mean, I've had some good runs, but I've known Ray since 2005, and just to see the driver he's developed into is absolutely incredible, and the year he's had is just stunning. But what's going to happen when he drives? I don't know. We're just gonna do the best we can, and we'll see how it works. I mean, I'm used to someone talking in my ear during the races now, but I'll just call my own races, and hopefully we'll have fast cars.
Field down the back straight away. 20 laps to go that last time by them. We have 13 drivers on the lead lap, and we have some drivers that we're not used to seeing here. Of course, we mentioned Chris Henyon. Chad Coleman was battling a cold. I was talking to him a little bit earlier on today, battling a little bit of the flu. I guess he's going to have to get the flu more often. He's up in position number 12 and on the lead lap and has an opportunity to win this race. And so far, so good for that number 83 Arnett GS Racing Chevrolet.
Chad Coleman and Vinny Sansoni also at the tail end of all these cars too. They were on the lead lap in the 11th and 12th position, actually the 12th and 13th position. Lights are out on the safety car. We will go green the next time by, and that will be at the start of lap number 150. So 17 laps to go from here.
John Prather has been hanging around too, he played the pit strategy with the fuel and everything like we've been talking about the whole race, and he's made me look like a genius. So the 45 Tax Slayer Chevy's just definitely made my days. He's been making me look like a genius. Definitely the two guys you want to watch for though, Brad Davies and Josh Parker, they've been in the top 3 to 4 pretty much the whole race, and now they're restarting 8th and 9th. They're going to dice it up here, and you know what? I mean, we have a little bit less than 20 laps to go. This is going to be absolutely exciting watching them drive through the field, and we'll see how Ray can hang on up front here. And also, you got to wonder if Brian Blackford and John Gorlinski have talked.
This could be a very interesting restart between those two, because if Ray Alfala leaves like he did the last time, it's going to be up to Brian Blackford and John Gorlinski to decide that second place position. And John Gorlinski is not going to pull his foot out of it. And Brian Blackford, the way he's been running, he wants to get up there and get a solid finish with that Triad Lawn Care number 33. This could be interesting as the pace car set to pull off here as we get set to go back to green flag racing. 149 complete, green flag flies. Blackford slices the nose off the 21.
Yeah, Blackford wanted down in the preferred groove down to the inside. Gorlinski wants to get around him as quick as possible so he can make a challenge, if there's any challenge to be made on Ray Alfala.
Brad Davies is definitely coming here. He's up to the 6th position here, and he's going for 5th under Thomas Hazard. He is coming. And it looks like Blackford's under attack by the 21 of John Gorlinski as well. This is a battle for 2nd up here. It looks like Blackford's going to try and slide in line. Does he do it? He does it! He and Sheehan! Wow! What a save by both of them! Wow!
And now the 6 has to go back on that number 33, but here comes the 11 of Brad Davies. Davies closing in on the number 6, single file for right now throughout your top 8, but I'm sure that's going to change.
Gorlinski now taking the challenge to Ray Alfala. He's going to try to get as close as possible. He's not able to close in the gap though. Last time by, 0.34 seconds gap. This time by, it is a 0.34 seconds, so 329. So barely a little bit of time gain there.
Blackford's trying to hold them both off, though. I mean, Brian is driving the race of his life right now, and he's just doing a phenomenal job. It looks like he could be under attack here. Sheehan's looking low under him. He's looking low. Is he going to give him room? He gives him room a little bit. All right, Blackford's sliding up a little bit. Sheehan's coming low. They're side by side as they exit turn number 4 here. Blackford's going to lose that spot, and it looks like he's going to lose another to Davies. I know Brian was so happy being their second or third, but now he's going to fall back to 5th here. We'll see if he can stay there.
And you look back at the fantastic battle. Oh, contact made. Parker turns Henyon into corner number 2. Caution flag gonna fly.
Those guys were bumping each other the last lap, and I thought maybe they got away with it going through the last turn 1 and 2 the last time, but this time they don't get away with it. Henyon was a little bit high. Parker tried to stick his nose up under there. They made some contact, and both cars go around in corner number 2.
And you guys talked about Josh Parker closing the deal. Another week, another race, and it didn't happen, guys.
And that's tough. Those two drivers were battling nose to tail and side by side, and the only thing that I saw out of the corner of my eye looking at the battle between the 11 and 33 is I saw that 81 just get a little bit loose, and when he tried to correct it, he corrected it right into the back bumper of the number 63 of Chris Henyon, and the run that we saw Henyon have comes to an end. Thornton in the number 71 hits the wall on the inside line, and heavy smoke rolling from that machine, and that's going to end his night. So the two pro drivers, Nim, that we thought could have very well at least got a top 5 finish out of this are going to be in the garage area, just less than 20 laps shy of the finish of this one.
Yeah, it looked like, Parker was a little underneath Henyon there a little bit. Henyon was squeezing him a little bit. Parker got a little bit loose. It's one of those deals where two drivers battling hard late in the race, and neither one of them wanted to give a little bit. And this is what happened. But a couple cars taken out, and I want to congratulate Chris Henyon on a good race today. Also, the 71 car of Thornton was having a great race tonight. Also, it's too bad to see his run come here late. But maybe he'll get in the series next season. We'll see a lot more of Jeremy Thornton next season.
Depending how the 63 of Chris Henyon is, guys, he can still finish 12th here because there's only 12 cars on the lead lap, and they got the jack up on the left side. He's taking 4 tires. I think Henyon will finish in the 12th position if he can keep the car rolling, so that still won't be that bad because no one's going to unlap themselves by the end of this race. So I think Henyon is actually still going to finish on the lead lap.
So we will go back to green flag racing with about 10 laps left to go in this race. Ray Alfala seems to have the car to beat right now, but has John Gorlinski, Steve Sheehan, Brad Davies has been strong these last few laps. Have they saved anything for Ray Alfala in this final 10 lap or so sprint to the finish?
I don't think anybody's got anything for Alfala right now. If anybody did, Gorlinski got out there to second. Sheehan's going to make a run. He's going to start on the inside of the second row, and he doesn't want to give anything up to Gorlinski right now. And remember, folks, if you like what you see here and you're not part of iRacing.com and the NASCAR iRacing Series World Championship, come on over and join us. You get buy 1 month, get 2 free, and you get to test out the service for $12 for 3 months. So come on over, go to www.iRacing.com. Check out the special we have going on. Buy 1 month, get 2 free, and you will have 3 months of racing for $12, and you'll get to see all the competition and the camaraderie here at iRacing.com, and come be a part of the fastest online growing community there is for any type of motorsports simulation racing.
And you know what? Sometimes there's a little bit of a misconception here. Definitely when you're driving in the series, you're driving the car for all it's worth every lap, especially with the tire and the way the cars drive right now, you're driving it for all it's worth every lap. These guys definitely showed everything they have so far, so Ray's definitely looking good. The thing you need to look at is you saw earlier with people like Lewandowski when they got caught up high, they lost 3, 4, 5 spots. The problem right here is Gorlinski and Davies are going to be restarting 2nd and 4th on the outside lane, so it's definitely good for someone like Steve Sheehan and Brian Blackford on the inside here. What they want this just to go green to the end. They don't want another restart because they like the inside line right now. So definitely if you're on the inside line, that's where I want to be for the final restart at this track.
So coming out of corner number 4, we expect the pace car lights to go off this time by Alfala. Gorlinski will be your front row, and we will have a 10-lap dash to determine the winner of round number 16 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Lights out. Next time by, we go at it again with 12 cars on the lead lap. Chad Coleman up to 10th, Vinny Sansone 11th, Chris Henyon in 12th, and then you got a whole host of drivers inside that top 10 that want to win this race bad.
Yep, and next time when we get the green, we will have 10 laps to go. So it'll be a 10-lap shootout. We'll see who can make it, and it's pretty it's pretty dicey from here. And usually when you get a caution and a restart with the 10 laps to go, it's pretty unlikely that they'll go the whole 10 laps. So we'll see how it works out. What that means though is these guys like Sheehan, Gorlinski, and Davies, they're going to be trying to make their move as soon as the green flag flies because they know that might be their only chance.
Definitely, Nim, and I think it's going to be crazy in all sorts, of places on the racetrack here, but there's definitely people. I know Tim just mentioned a couple of them. I mean, Josh Lawton 8th, Preether 9th, Coleman 10th, and then, Vinny and Henyon rounding out the top 12, the lead lap cars there. They definitely want to run hard, but they want to preserve the finish they have right now as well. But it's definitely going to get crazy here at the end, and it looks like the pace car is getting ready to pull off, Tim.
Here we go. 10 laps to a finish. Pace car is in. Alfala puts the hammer down. Gorlinski going to fall in line in second. Green flag flies. And here comes Brian Blackford. Blackford going to make up a spot on the 11 of Davies.
Alfala has the right to go as soon as that pace car leaves the track, and he took it there that time. He went a little earlier than what the other guys were expecting. Gorlinski would like that, though. He was able to fall down in second without too much of a challenge from Steve Sheehan. Sheehan into that third spot right now, and Brad Davies puts himself up to the fourth spot.
Yeah, Davies on that restart got in the line right behind Blackford, directly got under him and went by him. So put Davies up into fourth. We'll see what he can do from here. And Blackford's just trying to preserve that top 5. He's never gotten a top 5 finish here in this series. He's 5th right now. He's just trying to hang on.
Josh Lawton trying to hold on. John Preether on the inside line. Very close quarter racing in 1 and 2. That last time by, everybody in front of them for the time being single file as Preether picks up that spot.
Your leader, Ray Alfala, crosses the line here. Starts lap number 160. 8 laps to go from here. He's got about a 0.3 of a second lead. Steve Sheehan putting a little bit of pressure on Gorlinski. Gorlinski not able to close the gap after calling off corner number 2.
Things are pretty stable here up front. We just had a pass a minute ago over there with Josh Lawton and John Preether, as we mentioned. Just a phenomenal run with all these guys. They got to be jumping up and down for sure. It's good for them and their fans. Right now we do have a battle, though. Looks like Lewandowski's taking a look at Blackford.
16 and 33 going at it, and Blackford trying to protect his position, and he has the right to in these final few laps. And he wants a top 5 finish in this series so bad, as the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski he won 2 weeks ago. He wants to follow that up with a top 5 run here at Texas.
Yeah, Lewandowski looking low as they come off of corner number 4 down the front straightaway. Not close enough to make a challenge this time. We'll see if he can get closer coming off through 2. And he's right there going through 1 and 2 and try to get a run off 2 this time.
You're on board with the 33 of Brian Blackford. Looking back at Lewandowski, I know how much a top 5 would mean to Brian. It'd mean a lot to him. So he's trying really hard here. And as you mentioned, last week's winner wants a top 5 as well. It's about the closest battle right now on the racetrack. Believe it or not, things are actually getting pretty spread out, and it might just have a green flag finish to it, guys.
5 laps to go in this race. The Texas Motor Speedway working lap 163. Blackford trying to hold off the 16 of Thomas Lewandowski as they work off corner number 2 down the back straightaway, top 10 single file.
Ray Alfala has everybody covered right now. The battle is for that 5th position. Lewandowski right there are about 2 car lengths off of Brian Blackford, trying to get closer but unable to do so.
You're on board with the Wrangler Chevy now, Thomas Lewandowski. Just want to make a quick note. We just talked about Josh Lawton. He's running in the top 10. He just had connection problems and he's fallen out of the server. So that's absolutely devastating for Wheelman Inc. team over there and Josh Lawton. Absolutely devastating for him.
Can Thomas Lewandowski get up on the wheel just a little bit more and make that pass on 5th place, Brian Blackford? this time by 1:64 is completed. We work with 3 laps remaining in this event. Blackford in the Triad Lawn Care Chevrolet trying to hold on to a 5th place finish. In front of him, Ray Alfala holds court by a half second over John Gorlinski. Steve Sheehan holding off Brad Davies for position number 3, and Blackford completes your top 5.
Yeah, it looks like Blackford gets through the middle of the corners better, and Lewandowski very strong coming off of corner number 4, but through the middle of the corners it looks like Blackford is a little bit better. But one thing we got to watch is Brad Davies now looking on the back bumper of Steve Sheehan. That may be the closest battle on the track right now.
It might be, but for Ray Alfala, you guys, you know, he's had such an impressive year, and I just know the one thing that was bugging him was he wanted to get a win on this new tire to make it a complete championship season. And now he's coming to the white flag, I believe. Yes, he is. If he could get this win right here, this would definitely make it the complete championship season for Ray. And as a teammate of him, I'm just so proud of him.
The closest battle on the racetrack may be Davies closing in on Steve Sheehan for position number 3 down the back straightaway. For the final time, Ray Alfala, your championship leader, gonna inch 1 step closer to the $10,500 payday out of 4, and Ray Alfala storms to victory at the Texas Motor Speedway. John Gorlinski will come home in second. Steve Sheehan, Brad Davies, and Brian Blackford complete your top 5.
Thomas Lewandowski in the 6th position. Your runner-up in points right now, Thomas Hazard, brings her home in the 7th spot. John Prather, 8th. Vinny Sansoni, a good run for him, up in the 9th spot. Chad Coleman, top 10. Chris Hennigan in his second NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race brings her home in the 11th position.
Ray Alfala lights it up here on the front straightaway to celebrate his victory in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, and he's going to do a bit of a Polish victory lap and nearly lose it into the wall as he is going to light it up for the fans in corner number 4 heading into the Tri-Oval. We remind you to stay put. We have the post-race show coming up where we will talk to our top 5 finishers into this race and get their thoughts, with now just 2 to go in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship season. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
iRacing.com is the premier online racing simulation featuring head-to-head competition on your PC. Race from your home PC, competing on the world's best real-world cars and tracks. Thousands of race fans and scores of pro racers like Dale Jr. and Justin Wilson are already racing at iRacing. Experience the thrill of victory yourself and go racing today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship round at number 16 of 18 from the Texas Motor Speedway. And it's Ray Alfalla going to victory in the number 2 Pro Geek Consulting Chevrolet. This is his 3rd win of the season, and it ties him with Brad Davies for the most wins in this 2011 campaign. John Gorlinski comes home in 2nd, Steve Sheehan 3rd, Brad Davies 4th, and Brian Blackford in 5th. And Brad Davies, in fact, had the fastest lap of the race. Thomas Lewandowski in 6th. 7th is Thomas Hazard. 8th, John Prather. 9, Vinny Sansone. And great run for Chad Coleman. Chad Coleman comes home with a top 10 run. We're going to go down to Victory Lane with Brian Schoenberg. He has caught up with your winner this evening and your point leader, who inches that much closer to the $10,500 payday, Ray Alfalla. Brian?
Hey guys, my first time here, I get to interview the winner. And on top of that, the winner was my teammate, Ray. How are you?
Hey man, how's it going? What can I say? I mean, great run tonight. Car was a lot better than I thought it would be from practice, and everything went right.
Now, I remember talking with you before. This has obviously been an excellent season for you. But one of the things that was always kind of in my head, and I said it on the broadcast too, and I think it's been on your mind too, the importance of you getting a win on the new tire. It wasn't really necessary, but just for you to say, man, this was the perfect championship type year, you know, to get a win on this new tire, it has to be huge. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's always a big deal when you win, just because it's so difficult to do. And it's so competitive, and there's so many things. You have to be fast, and then you also have to do the right things on pit road, and things have to fall the right way as well. And when all that comes together and you win a race, it feels great. I think I've been pretty strong with the tire model. I was a little disappointed at Atlanta. I had a top 5 car, and I messed up the pit strategy and finished 12th. So, but the last 2 weeks after that, I got top 5s and was able to win tonight. So, it just it's an incredible year, and it just keeps on getting better.
Okay, now this next question is sort of a two-part type of question. When you passed Josh Parker for the lead at one point, it had to felt amazing the first time you did it, and you're in the lead, everything's cool, and then Brad Davies takes 2 tires on the pit stop, and he's got a 4-second lead. What was going through your head then? I know I'd be saying, gosh darn it, I really don't want to lose this race. And then, as you're the race leader, the caution comes out, and there's only 7 cars on the lead lap. Talk about what was going through your head the first time when Davies took 2 tires. And then when the caution came out with you as the leader and only 7 cars on the lead lap, you had to have been, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Brad was taking a big risk, short pitting, and that strategy that he was on. What he was doing was best for if it stayed green the whole way, but I can't afford pitting early and then having the yellow come out, which is exactly what happened. So I knew if we went green all the way, I knew Brad was going to win. That was, no doubt about it. But, I couldn't risk pitting early and then having the yellow come out, and it happened. And yeah, once I saw for that last stop that I had a few lap cars between me and second place, I just said, don't speed and you'll be out front.
Now, Ray, another thing I know that I've talked to you about lately is the opportunity that you might actually be able to clinch the championship or race in advance at Homestead. And with the way things look today and where Thomas Hazard finished and how everything went, the possibility of you clinching a race early is absolutely possible. number one, how does that feel? And also, what do you think, I mean, about you being a champion? I mean, really, it looks like it's going to happen now, my friend. I mean, that's got to just feel surreal and incredible.
Well, I'm not a champion yet. Mathematics says I'm not one yet, so I'm not one yet. But clinching at Phoenix would be awesome. Just to be in the position to do so is great. And I mean, I didn't come tonight expecting to win. It was just have like I said in previous weeks, run up front, and if you run up front, good things will happen. And we'll go to Phoenix and we'll do the math or whatever later, and see where I have to finish. But it's it feels great, but I'm not gonna be thinking I'm the champion yet or anything just because mathematically I'm not.
Well, I know for sure it's not set in stone, but you know what, Ray? I mean, I've known you for 6 years, and you're definitely everything a champion is made of, and I really hope this works out for you. And it definitely looks like this is realistic. It's definitely going to happen, or it definitely could happen. And before we let you go here, just talk about, your sponsors, who makes it happen. I know Matt Salo and ProGeek, they got to be jumping up and down right now. I kind of know I was in the booth, and them kind of had to sit me down because I was starting to get a little bit crazy just hoping you would win.
Yeah, I got to thank ProGeek Consulting. This is the first win with Matt Salo on board, and JDR Graphics. I forgot to thank JD last week, and also I got to thank my parents. They're my biggest fans. They watch these races and they get more nervous than I do, so I haven't given them a shout out all year. So shout out to them. And Bryant Blackford again gets a top 5. He got 6 last week, which was his personal best. Now he gets top 5. So good job to him, and thanks to everybody who helps out. And looking forward to Phoenix.
That's Ray Alfaro, your winner, guys. And Ray, before we let you go, come on, give us a little woo or something.
Yeah, next race, Brian.
All right, back up to the tower.
All right, we're down here with your second place finisher, John Gorlinski. John, Ray looked like he had everybody covered tonight, but you had a good solid run, and I know it must have been tough trying to chase him down, but set up pretty good. Still on the new tire model, you're still hooked up, still running well. Tell us about your race.
I'll start before the race. I was watching Ray practice earlier and knew he kind of had the car to beat tonight, and so I put a little extra effort into qualifying to try to get the pole. Maybe I could, just hang out front all race because clean air means so much, and came up a little bit short. I messed up my first attempt at qualifying, and I didn't want to do a Dover repeat, so I just kind of ran a smooth lap and ended up second. Just ran second and third and fourth for like ever. It wasn't too exciting of a race. I knew I didn't have the best car. I knew I had a top probably 3 cars as long as everything worked out in the end, and it did. I had a close call with Fogel there. I think he blew a tire, but I almost got a face full of spoiler, which was kind of scary.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting moment. Another exciting moment earlier in the race is when you were battling your other Wrangler teammate, Thomas Lindowski. So a little bit, no team orders there, obviously, but what was it like battling with Thomas coming off a 4 there?
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's tough. I mean, I don't know what happened to him. I don't think I hit him. It's just hard racing. You need to get all the spots you can get on restarts here. I screwed up on the pit stop. I ended up forgetting to take 2, and I switched to 2 tires the last second after they already jacked up the left side. So I had like a 4-tire stop, but only got 2 tires and kind of screwed myself there. So I was mad at myself trying to muscle my way back up to the front, and Tom and I just raced hard. He's a clean guy. I trust him with all the moves we were doing there. I don't know what happened off of 4 though. I heard him bouncing off the rev limiter, and his tires were cranked to the right. I thought there's about to be a big mess, and somehow he hung on to it.
He got the back end out, was able to save it. I don't think there was any contact or anything like that. Just good hard racing. Looks like you made up a few points on Thomas Hazard. And it looks like you got a real shot for second in the championship right now. Still have a shot at the championship itself, but closer to Hazard, only by a couple points out of the second position right now. How does that make you feel? And what are your chances going into Phoenix?
It makes me feel pretty good. I've been on fire a little bit with this new tire model, and I'm just, if I could hammer out two more races like this, I think I might be able to just get him by a point maybe. it's hard to tell. So like Dover, I thought I was gonna. I mean, he spun out. I thought I was gonna get a bunch of points on him. I only got 4. This week I only got 4. It's close. I just got to keep doing what I'm doing, and hopefully he blinks before I do. It feels good. I had some. I mean, I missed Bristol at the beginning of the season, and had some other junk happen during the season. So I'm pretty happy with where I am right now.
Who makes it happen for you?
Wrangler, my parents. I think they're watching this in the other room actually. The drill aisle. Once again, we were hooked up. Ray broke our streak of like a bazillion wins in a row, which is disappointing, but I'll take second any day of the week. Whiskey River and Tax Slayer and all the JRM sponsors.
That's John Gorlinski, your second place runner here today. We'll throw it over to Tim, who's got the Tax Slayer car of Steve Sheehan.
Steve Sheehan coming home in position at number 3 this evening. And Steve, what a run this was here at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Hey guys. Oh yeah, this is just what the doctor ordered. Had a string of bad finishes, bad luck. They've all been self-inflicted, and I came through, got a nice top 5 tonight, and I think this is probably one of the first times I've finished anywhere from 2nd to 25th this season, so that's good. This is just what I needed.
Had a long green flag run in this race. How did that change your strategy coming in, expecting maybe not as long of a run?
Well, I knew we'd have long runs. The longer this group has on a tire model and everything like this, we're just going to get longer and longer runs at every track. I mean, you guys are going to see the field spread out and everything. Everybody's pretty much expecting long runs, green flag pit stops. Kind of a boring race for us, but didn't change the strategy too much. I knew not to get off sequence. I knew how much I could go on fuel. Tires aren't really important. Honestly, you just got to know when they're going to blow out, because you run the same times forever. But strategy didn't change too much. It was pretty good.
Now, looking at the restarts were fairly hectic here. You had one eventful restart where you lost a few positions.
Yeah, I've been hit or miss all season on these restarts. I know people are probably getting a little sick of it. I don't know what my deal is. It's something I definitely have to work on during the off season and in these NASCAR Class A races that iRacing offers. I have a lot of trouble keeping concentration on the restarts. I don't know why. It's not like they're starting in different places for the most part. I just it's just something I need to improve on.
Now, looking at the points without the drop weeks factored in, you're looking at 11th place in the point standings. What's the goal heading forward in these final 2 races, and what do we expect out of Phoenix?
Well, if you would have asked me this after I won a couple of those races a few weeks ago, I would have said 5th or 6th in points at the end of the season. But I kind of, just like the start of the season, I really screwed myself for the past few races, and I finished back there 25th, 30th, where Tax Slayer does not deserve to finish. I really think if a couple of the guys that are right in front of me in points had some bad finishes, real bad finishes. And, you can have a 20, 30-point swing in a race. So I think, granted, I don't do anything stupid for the rest of the season. I really think I am good enough to finish a real solid top 10 every race. So I'm really looking to pick up a few spots at each race in the points, maybe 3 or 4 by the end of the season.
So watch this number 6 car in the final few races of this 2011 campaign. Before we let you go, Steve, who makes it happen for the 6?
Well, everybody knows by now Tax Slayer's been on the car all season. I do a pretty good job of spamming everyone until they're sick of it. So I got to thank them, of course. Whole JRM team. I work with those guys quite a bit. I mean, if there's going to be guys I work with, those are them all season. Got to give a shout out to my buddy John, the other Tax Slayer car in the field. Finished 8th tonight, so we were definitely representing the way we should. And I also got to thank JD Laird for painting the car, and Fusion Pool Treatment. I haven't mentioned them all season, and they deserve a shout out tonight. So I got to thank Sonny and Tina over at Fusion Pool Treatment for their sponsors.
And that's Steve Sheehan coming home with position at number 3 this evening. Brad Davies, we're still trying to track down Brad Davies, but until we do, we're going to kick it over to Brian Schoenberg, who has caught up with Brian Blackford with his first top 5 finish of the season.
Now, you guys, I know Tim and Nim, I know you can still hear it, and I can too. It's about 15 minutes after the race, and the fans are still going crazy. Ray winning was popular. It's a popular win, and Blackford getting his first top 5s definitely made them happy too. The fans at home can't hear him, but everyone's still going nuts over this. And Brian, I was calling you to your first top 5 finish ever. Talk about the race tonight. It is absolutely amazing to watch the number 33 Chevy run amongst the best the whole race. Talk about it.
Well, thanks, Brian. It was a lot of fun, especially on the restarts, but there in the middle portion of the race, it kind of got a little monotonous, and I kind of got a little bored. Car was good on the long run, though. I'm not really that great on restarts, as you can probably tell. I gave up a few there at the end, but it was a good run. I'm very pleased. It's actually my first top 5 ever, so I'm very excited. Congrats to the win, Ray. Congrats to him for getting the win. That's cool for him.
It was definitely a huge win for him, but definitely this is 2 weeks in a row for you. You've started up front, and you finished there, a 6th and a 5th, your last 2 finishes. And you've come, my friend, from a long way back. I mean, you sat out a while, you know, you were out of the top 25 in points, and you're going to solidly be in now, I'm sure of it. But, gosh, just talk about the last few weeks.
Yeah, if I could learn how to talk, I'd have it all down. But, the last 2 weeks have been good. I barely missed out on a top 5 last week. Chris Main got me there, but it feels great to finally break through and get a top 5. I've been trying so hard to get one, and it hasn't come along till now. But it's been a lot of hard work, mostly because I've just put in so much time trying to get the perfect setup, and it's hard to set up your car for these races because you don't know exactly how the race is going to play out. But it didn't really work in my favor tonight, but it was still cool to come home with a top 5.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it feels like a win almost. I know it does to me. Anytime I finish up there, I'm feeling really good about life, and you definitely should be. You drove a great race, and speaking about feeling good about life, you might not have been feeling too great towards the end. I mean, you were up front there, but it looked like yourself, Gorlinski, and even Sheehan, you may have traded paint a couple of times there. Were you concerned about anything happening there? Because I figured, I'm like, if I'm Brian, I'm going to be talking to John right now and just telling him, all right, let's just finish. We've worked too hard to get this great finish. So I'm talking too much here. This question's way too long. But just talk to me about the end there. Were you concerned at all? Because you were racing him, it was a pretty rough battle.
I was very concerned about the end because my car wouldn't get going very quickly. So on the restarts, I struggled. And forgot to mention, like, half the time I couldn't see the other cars around me because Verizon is a big load of fail. So I couldn't really see anybody half the time, but I didn't want anybody to know that, just in case they'd, like, start to freak out and yell at me or whatever. So I guess they could see me on their end, but I just couldn't see them on my end. And, like, people would, like, go up the track and, like, they're blowing tires and stuff, like, the entire race. It was pretty crazy. It was definitely not working in my favor because, like, I'd see, like, somebody shoot right towards the wall, and I thought they'd, like, blow a right front or something. And it kind of screwed up my rhythm. So, but that was a big obstacle I had to overcome, and I kind of threw a block on Sheehan there, but yeah, we had a little contact, but it was awesome though. We talked after the race. He said he was all smiles when it happened, so that's pretty cool.
2 great finishes in a row. What's the prospects for the last 2 races? What's your goal?
2 wins.
All right, and before we let you go, I know there's sponsors out there. I know there's people out there you want to thank. Talk to me about the people that make it possible for the one and only Brian Blackford.
Just gotta thank Trad Lawn Care for being my sponsor, and gotta give a shout out to the Hansen family and Nick Hansen. They suffered a loss, and sim racing friend. I knew I wanted to dedicate a win to him, but top 5 is good enough. I never know when I'm going to get the next interview, so just have to give a shout out to them. And everybody on TeamSpeak, I don't know what team I'm on now, but they know who they are. And shout out to Ray again for the win.
For sure, definitely. We want to give a shout out to Nick Hansen and his family. And Brian, real quick, I couldn't get Ray to go woo, so can I get you to do a woo on your great run? Maybe?
No, I'm pretty
All right,
low-key guy. Sorry.
All right, well, great job to you, and I'll send it back up to Tim Terry.
Thanks, Brian. And coming up in the next couple of weeks, we have 2 fantastic races for you here on iRacing.com. Of course, the equivalent to this series in the roadside is the iRacing.com NVIDIA series, and they head to Okayama International Circuit coming up in about a week and a half time, and then in 2 weeks' time we head to the Phoenix International Raceway. But Nem, I know one exciting event coming up that's not going to be televised, but it's something you really want to get involved in.
Yeah, iRacing announced today the Late Model Invitational Tournament that's going to kick off Wednesday, September 28th at 8 p.m. So all you iRacing members and all of you who are not yet iRacing members, go ahead and join up, www.iracing.com. Get 1 month for the price, or get 1 month and get 2 free. So 3 months for the price of 1. But anyway, the Wednesday, September 28th is the Late Model Invitational. That kicks off, and there'll be qualifying rounds 1 and 2. And then Thursday will be the semifinals and final rounds. So 2 days worth of racing in the late models for the Invitational Tournament. Check it out on the news side of the members side. You can check it out in the news top stories. And come join us for the Late Model Invitational Tournament that begins on September the 28th at 8 p.m.
Brian Schoenberg, final thoughts from here. Fantastic race, and I know we're going to have an action-packed Hot Lap Radio coming up next Tuesday.
Oh, you bet. Definitely catch Hot Lap Radio next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I believe. But it's just a great race for the fans and all of us involved. It was fun to watch, and obviously just a great win for Ray Alfala, really capping off what could be the perfect year for him. Brian Blackford had a great run. John Prather did. Josh Lawton had the good run that should have happened, but it didn't work out. And really, it was just a blast, and I thank you guys for having me. And do you think I could get Nim to do a little woo? Maybe? Nim?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, you guys. It was a lot of fun.
And that's going to wrap it up for round number 16 of 18 on the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship from the Texas Motor Speedway. We're back at you in 2 weeks' time at the Phoenix International Raceway. You will not want to miss that one. So for Nim Cross, Brian Schoenberg, the whole host of people behind the scenes, including Ilka Happala, Zach Stanko, Ian Bushing, Chuck Johnson, and Matt Racing Kid Thomas. My name is Tim Terry, saying we'll see you next time when we say let's go racing from the Phoenix International Raceway. Keep the hammer down. We'll see you at the track.